Well, well, well. There we go. Well, well, well. Hello. Oh, wait, hold on. How's my music volume? I need to spend a stream day just figuring out what the best, how to set up my microphone and everything properly. That is on me. Hold on. Let me see how the music volume is right now. Yeah, we can turn it up a little bit, yeah? Okay. I think this is good. Hello! Let me calm myself down a bit. Hello. Welcome, guys, to day 128. I'm starting the stream a bit later. It's not my fault. I swear. As part of my process of starting the stream, you guys on the YouTube side might have seen this before. Volumes are good, says BC. Oh, thank you. And what's up? We got BC and Cyronius gambling it all away. Thank you guys for being here. Hold on, let me just catch up on what you guys are saying here. Well, firstly, Cyronius is first, so I do owe you some PPs. We're still doing that. Give me a second. Let me open it up over here. Let me shrink this guy. Let me take this thing. Let's put it over here. I tried a speed run today. In terms of starting the stream after I hit the starting soon thing. So this is as fast as I could be today, you know, because I do a little bit of feeding the cats and making my drinks and wandering around and just getting ready, you know. So it took about 4.5 minutes for me to feel ready to start the stream. I say that, but I'm realizing I forgot to do one thing. I'm just going over here. Let's grab this one. Cool. Let me minimize this. And let me get the TikTok thing ready. I think we're going to do a bit of streaming today there. And, oh yeah, sorry. I was supposed to give Cyronius some PPs. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Let me see. Where art thou, Cyronius? My fellow streamer, Cyronius, I shall gift upon you 500 PPs. All right, there you go. Hello, thank you guys for being here. Cyroni says hot dog, and BC says cool down. All right, all right. With a little bit of good mornings and what's up, Stinky's in there, and volume is good, and you guys are gambling it all away. And we got Cat and Candle in the stream as well. Hello, hello, my fellow cat owner and lover and whatever else. All right. It didn't work, probably a good thing. Oh, wait, what? What's not working? Is the gambling still not working? Oh, and then let me, how do I hit accept again? Accept. Is it in time? Oh, I won. All right. Thank you guys for being here. We are streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, and then soon TikTok in a little bit. My live streams are focused on me being a wildlife photographer and filmmaker and travel YouTuber and looking to hopefully share a little bit of behind the scenes of how do I edit my photos and videos, how do I make my content, and hopefully build a community of fellow content creators, photographers, videographers, cinematographers, writers, actors, musicians. I don't know, I missed a few in there. But yeah, hopefully we continue building out that community and support each other. So that's kind of the brunt of what you should expect on my streams. I do have some really cool, interesting news. I say cool, that's a little bit too strong of a word, but yesterday, after yesterday's stream, because I thought it was a little bit peculiar because there was a bit more views on my video than normal, right? And it wasn't like I did anything different as far as I could tell. However, when I was seeing it, my YouTube channel, it said that video was featured, which is like interesting. I've never seen that before. So I think YouTube's algorithm finally has realized the value that is my channel. Thank you so much. But no, I think apparently it might have gotten picked up somewhere and then they decided to put it, you know, to suggest it to certain people. So that was cool. So yesterday we had a few more people hop into the live stream at various points on YouTube. So I don't know what happens behind the scenes and how those algorithms work, but hopefully we're going to continue doing the right things that this vast machine that we we all worship, which is all hail YouTube. Hopefully, it will continue rewarding us with promoting our stream. Kavai is in the chat as well. Kavai says, hey, how's it going? It's going very well. Starting the stream a little bit late. Oh yeah, sorry, that's what I was going to say, and I forgot because my ADHD. This live stream is for all you ADHD people out there, or the ones that are undiagnosed, like myself. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was, as part of how I start my live stream, I create custom YouTube thumbnails, right? So each live stream you ever tune into, for the most part, unless I missed a few, you should see that the thumbnail is different for every single day that I stream. It's just a fun thing that I like to do. Oh, I forgot to turn on one of the lights. Hold on. I noticed because I see Nala over here, but she looks super dark. Hold on. There we go. Let there be light. Okay, so we got the backside of Nala to hang out with us. Kavai says, I like the effort you put into the thumbnails every time. Thank you very much. It does get a bit tiresome having to keep taking photos of myself and being like, do I just do the same pose every single time? Sometimes I throw my cats in, so today's thumbnail, it does have my cat in there. But yeah, it's just fun, I guess, or I don't know. It's just a thing I do, and it ends up eating a bit more time to do it every single time, and yet I still do it. So, but anyways, my point was, before the start of today's stream, I was planning to make my thumbnails and all that. Oh, and then I update my agenda. So in the starting soon video, you'll see a little quick agenda overlay. It's not like super by the books. I just kind of say what I think I'll cover for the day. But the point is, Canva was down. It like crashed. And so I just couldn't access Canva, and it tricked me into thinking maybe it works. I wasted so much time just wondering if Canva's down, if my internet's down. I shut down everything, restarted it. So that's why I'm late. I swear. But thank you, Kavai. I do put in a bit of effort into everything. Cat and Candle says, self-diagnosed. My wife keeps telling me to go get checked. You know what? I told the story already. And what's happening? We got Mindful in the chat as well. Good morning, fam, says Mindful. Well, thank you for being here. And good morning to you over on the West Coast for all you Americans watching. And shout out to all the Europeans as well that are watching. And of course, any fellow Middle Eastern or whatever time zone that I'm in. If you guys happen to hop in, hells yeah. And then I guess so most unlikely would be those in the Asian hemisphere. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Those of you guys in Asia is what I'll say. I'm assuming by now everyone's sleeping there. Yeah, I said this before, but I think about 3 months ago, I decided, just because we were having some conversations on stream, it got brought up, and I was wondering to myself if I might have ADHD. And then I took an exam online during the stream, and at least based on that one silly online exam, it said basically 99 percentile, whatever percent that I have ADHD, whatever the thing was. It basically said most likely you have it. So then I actually did take the time to go to a doctor to see if I have it. And really nice lady, but I swear to Christ, I'm pretty sure she did this intentionally as part of the exam. Because I show up in the clinic and I finally get entered into, I'm inside her office. And every time she would ask me a question, I would be maybe 5 seconds into responding, and then she would cut me off. She would interrupt me and like throw in some other stuff, blah, blah, blah. And it was like so consistent that I was wondering to myself, this has to be a joke, or this has to be like, you must be testing me right now. There must be a camera on right now, and this is all being monitored to see how I react when all the stimulants keep coming in. I don't know. I was like, holy crap, maybe you have ADHD, doctor. But yeah, so then they said I had to go to another doctor. I had to get some brain scans or some other types of things to do. And in the midst of like scheduling those appointments, they came back to me and said, oh, your insurance basically declined one of those appointments. And and then it was like there's all these loopholes where it's like, okay, well, I think you should still show up, and I think if you maybe do this, you should be able to. And by that point, I didn't hear another word. They called me a few times, and I was just like, just part of my brain, it just became too overwhelming to even think about the process of doing these logistical things. So the irony, I guess, there is that whether or not I have ADHD, and I guess we'll never know because I didn't complete the diagnosis to see if I have ADHD, and that could have been because of ADHD, kicking in, and me now just can't be bothered. In which case, that is the truest irony, and I guess maybe a proper self-diagnosis. Mindful says, Happy Ramadan to everyone who celebrates. Yes, that is true. That is correct. I do not celebrate it myself. I remember one year back in the corporate office time, I did try to fast during... I wonder if I think I did it the whole time, or at the very least I tried to, in the office, not sip anything or eat anything. But obviously I am in the midst of Ramadan here. So yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, happy Ramadan to everyone. Kavai says the ADHD doctor. Wait, is there like a proper name for it? I don't know. Whatever. So anyways, that's my quick little story. Thanks for being here, guys. Today is day 128 of my live stream, which reminds me, but some things that I was working on today, just to catch you guys up, and here's the day in the life of Yobel Prize. It's boring. It's a little bit of the same thing every single day. Although now I am going to the gym regularly, so I go every other day. So that's been a nice consistent thing that I do. And I wouldn't say I'm noticing too many changes to my body just yet, because I haven't been the most consistent with my dieting for the most part. And my excuse is like, look, I'm trying to build up muscle mass again, okay? And my metabolism will kick in and all that kind of stuff. But I do, I feel good. I feel clean for the most part. And then I spent some time working. And so thank you again, Kavai. Although, Kavai, I'm still waiting to hear back from Roger. He sent me an email about the logistics about going to Norway. But then I had a question on the pricing he gave me. So I just need to wait to hear back from him on that. Because either he might have had a typo in his pricing, or the cost of this trip is way more expensive than I initially imagined it would be, or at least based on his website. Maybe I got the wrong impression. But yeah, so anyways, I just need to hear back from him on that. So that was a little bit. And then what was oh yeah, I worked with my editor. We just finalized the second episode of Behind the Lens, which is a new series on my YouTube channel where we kind of do a little bit of bite-sized topical talking head videos in this hopefully very casual, informal, whatever you want to call it, but a unique overhead shot perspective. So I'm very excited for you guys to see the second episode. Kavai says, interesting story. That's some irony. Yes, my life is full of irony, as I've discovered. What else? Oh yeah, so the second episode, we've completed it. Now I'm working through, I've already filmed a number of, I filmed a few more episodes from that series. There's a few videos that I'm working on for the Nikon Z6 III in particular. I've been meaning to showcase some of the features of the Z6 III. Again, because of my relationship with Nikon, it behooves me as well to constantly promote whenever possible, right? And so the Z6 III, I've had the privilege, I guess, to travel for over a year with that camera across a multitude of countries. So I'm starting to kind of digest some of the footage, figure out if there are nice topics that I could point out, which also kind of showcases the power of the Z6 III. And then, of course, I'd be doing the same thing with the ZR. Now that I have an editor, now that I'm more serious about YouTube, I'm hoping this means I can do it in a more timely fashion. Like the Z6 III has been out for however, it's already out there for over a year, right? So, and then the ZR is now already out for several months. But I'm hoping that I could ultimately end up in a situation where I can be like 1 year since the launch of the ZR. Imagine I'm publishing a YouTube video that says 1 year with the ZR camera and then blah, 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 breakdowns and all that. So I think we're finally at that point. Assuming my relationship with this new editor continues, I see no reason it wouldn't. He's excellent. He works super hard and incredibly creative. So Kavai says maybe give him a call. He has ADHD himself. Talking of, okay, I'll send a quick note. I'll also be honest with you, Kavai, or just in general, not to say honest as in like I'm hiding something. The next 2 months for me, it may end up being the most chaotic 2 months of like, there's a possibility that I will literally be on a back to back travels for film projects or film trips or like photography trips. So let's say if I do Norway, that might end up being like the first or second week of March, let's say. And then right after, potentially, it seems like I might be doing a workshop in possibly Kenya or I forget where exactly, but I might be doing a workshop for Nikon in somewhere in Africa. Right after, let's say if the March trip, if I lock it down, there might be a couple 2 to 3 days that I'll do a workshop for Nikon and talking about filmmaking and stuff like that. And then literally it might be from that country, I would then have to directly fly into another country where I might be supporting a different film project, not my own, but for someone else. Which I can't speak much of it now, but the point is it's a cool opportunity, but it literally could be if the timings and everything locks down that way. So that's back to back to back. And at the end of that trip, I think I should be back home, hopefully by the end of March, somewhere there. However, beginning of April, I have my organized tour, right? So I'll be taking a few people with me to Uganda for our gorilla treks, the chimpanzees and all of that. So that's in the beginning of April. So hopefully there's a bit of buffer between the two, possibly. And then literally it's funny how this thing works out, but right after the last day of that tour, there's a different company that I've worked with in the past, and we were chatting about potentially doing something together in a different country, like a workshop type thing. And if that goes through, which, fingers crossed and everything, hopefully all of this goes through, that would mean I'm flying straight from Uganda to this other country. So definitely not complaining. And also, keep in mind, chances are maybe half of these things don't actually occur. There's a lot of TBDs. There's always, you never know. Things fall through the cracks and whatever it is. But in one universe, hopefully this one, we will end up doing 5 different projects back to back to back to back to back. Back to back to back to back. Yeah, okay, I was correct. Yeah, which is a little crazy, right? And so that is something I need to figure out as well, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. So my hope is, one, I would love to obviously try to live stream from some of these travels wherever possible if I can actually start testing it out. The ideal scenario would be with all the kit that we've been discussing. Worst case scenario, even just with my iPhone, with like an Osmo Pocket, or just kind of doing like a stream from abroad with whatever I've got whenever I have stable internet. Yeah, so that's the main thing. But yeah, I just got to make sure I'll hopefully... And then 2, I'm trying to work with that editor to make sure I have enough videos lined up, that I've filmed everything properly. I send it over to him so that hopefully in the coming month and a half, starting March, there will be more videos published onto my channel that you guys hopefully will enjoy. Mindful says, I was just checking and the Z6 III is on sale with an education discount on B&H photo for what? For $1,800 or $1,900. Wow, that's a huge drop, isn't it? I thought, is that like a... why did I think that the Z6 III was $2,800 or so? In which case, that's amazing. That's a good deal. Kavai says, 5 back-to-back travels in completely different climates. Impressive. For the most part, it should be fairly different places, if it all works out. So yeah. What's happening? We got Ayo Avero in the chat. Thanks for coming back here, saying, never too late, am I? Never too late. You're never too late to join my stream. Yes, if that's what you're saying. So thank you for being here. Oh, wait. Ayo, were you the one... Hold on. Who was the one that was talking about potentially buying... or wondering if they should buy a ZR versus the Z6 III they have already. Maybe it wasn't you, AO. I just remember there's someone recently, we were chatting when I was showing a bit of the video editing stuff, but 30% off? Okay. Damn, that's good. All right, well, thank you guys for being here. So as we're kind of getting ready to be a proper streamer, I figured let's make sure we warm ourselves up. And one thing I've been doing a bit more of as of late is before I just like hop into doing proper video editing or photo editing, I want to just like watch maybe a YouTube video or something like that, you know, like start off with a little bit of a warm up, see if we can watch a video that's inspiring or I can take notes from it because of how, you know, how insightful it is. So in the spirit of that, let me just go ahead and share my screen. Hold on. There we go. And then also, let me open up DaVinci. But thank you for being here, everyone. Over on Twitch, YouTube, Kick. There's always one person on Kick, and I appreciate you for being there. And then we're going to stream on TikTok in a second. Let's make sure everything's working. Cool. Let's open up DaVinci and also Lightroom. Oh, you know what? This is probably what I should do. Or actually, I don't know. You know, I was chatting with the editor about like, okay, let's say I'm a serious YouTuber, okay? Let's just pretend that I'm a proper YouTuber that knows what he's doing and all that kind of stuff. And especially as someone that's doing live streams as well, I need to figure out like how, because I know all the best all the best live streamers, they know how to like have clippable moments. But the issue is that I'm not an entertainer streamer in the sense of like, you know, I don't have like video games that you can clip up or controversial topics or things like that we participate in. So then the question becomes, okay, the editor is clearly talented enough to clip up parts of my streams as needed, but I need to figure out what is a good template of the type of content that he can even clip up regularly, right? Except for like if something viral happens to happen, but I'm not trying to bank on that. AO says, feeling a bit terrible right now. I feel thousands of hammers striking my brain, giving... Sorry. Well, I don't mean to laugh at you for your pain, but I don't know why that made me laugh. You know what made me laugh about that? Not the headache that you're feeling. I was laughing at the fact that you built it up in my head because you said 1,000 hammers striking. So I was just visually in my mind, I'm just imagining what that feels like. But then you ended it by saying slight headache. And so for me, it was like a weird, unexpected. I was expecting massive migraine or something, not a slight headache. Okay, well, I apologize for laughing either way. Hopefully you feel better. Not sure if my stream can help you with that, but it doesn't hurt to try. You know what I've heard can help is if you go over to the YouTube stream and hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already. I don't know if you can leave a comment. I guess it'd be a chat at this point. But some of those things, it could actually help your headache, you know? They say there's something about giving to other people that's like a dopamine rush. So imagine when you give me that like on the YouTube channel, it's just the endorphins of knowing that you're helping me grow my channel that much further. Yeah. Joking aside though, yeah, hopefully you do feel okay. That is the worst when you have like a massive migraine or like where it feels like it's piercing into your skull. Mindful says, I'm really contemplating getting the Z9 Mark II when that comes out instead of a red KX. What is KX? Is that like the Komodo something or something like that? Hybrid is better for the sort of projects I'm looking for going forward, and the Z9 Mark II will be a beast. I would love the Z9 Mark II, but my bank account would not. So that's always the two, that is the battle, the forever battle that I must wage. But we'll see. Maybe I can work out a deal with Nikon if I can prove to them I can make some epic content with the Z9 Mark II. Wait, is there any? I don't follow the news about anything to do with anything, to be honest with you. Has there been news about the Z9 Mark II? Is there like something official that's out, or is it just still rumors? Kavai says, I'll have to go now. My pics got featured. Oh man, it got featured in a student camera club's photo magazine. I'm getting a free copy to pick up. Well, congrats on that. That's a big deal, man. Look at you, man. You're proper streamer and award-winning photographer. You should put that on your Instagram. Oh, you should put that on your Twitch bio. Put award-winning, featured, and don't say student camera clubs. Say featured in SCC's photo magazine. But honestly, that's really awesome. So congratulations to you. Mindful says yes instead of the red Komodo X. Got it. Okay. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I wanted to watch this YouTube video, and I was thinking maybe. Oh yeah, sorry. See, I do have ADHD because I'm hopping around way too many topics here. Wait, is that a sign of ADHD? Maybe I'm appropriating that term there. I'm very forgetful, and I get easily distracted with conversations, I guess is the main thing. The thing I wanted to say though is, hopefully I will be very structured with my YouTube channel, with my YouTube live streams going forward, where ideally there could be key segments that I try to do every single stream. And the value of that, of course, is one, for consistency, and then hopefully helping the YouTube algorithm understand who I am, what I stream, so then it can put it in front of the right people, ideally. But then two, maybe as we become a bigger content creator, as we get more people watching the streams, fingers crossed and all that, as we just grow as a YouTuber, Twitch streamer, all that fun stuff, then hopefully we will be able to have more clippable segments that I can publish to my YouTube channel as like a standalone video. So let's imagine if I'm doing a photo edit session and it takes like 15 minutes. Well, then ideally, the editor can just chop it, maybe just do a basic little nice polished intro in the beginning, and then just let it play out for 15 minutes with very subtle or minimal cuts. And then it's just like, oh, here's a lazy photo editing session from my last stream, right? So then that could be more consistent types of videos that get published on my YouTube channel as in segments from the live stream. So that way it does help make my live stream more digestible for people who can't watch the entire 4 or 5 hours or however long, or you miss a day and it's like, well, how the hell am I supposed to catch up on that? So that is one of my goals. But in order to do that properly, I need to be consistent. I need to make it easy for an editor to know what are potential things that can be templatized and showcased consistently. So my thought process there was like, let's say if I start each stream with at least a little bit of like warm-ups, conversational things for sure, that can be one segment of it. Then another segment could be when I'm doing some photo edits. And one thing I guess I have to figure out is, if I mix in watching a YouTube video at the same time as I'm doing the edit, could that cause issues with like potential copyright stuff? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Or it could just be a bit of like you're ending up mixing two completely different things together. So if someone's watching this as a YouTube video of like, hey, watch this guy edit his photo of this leopard, blah, blah, blah. And then some random video is playing here that I'm responding to. That could be a little bit chaotic, possibly. Also compared to like if I edit this photo, it might be better for me to edit it in full screen so that when you are watching if you want to watch this video on its own, it's a little bit easier to see how I'm editing. But then like sorry, I'm going on a bunch of tangents here. I'm just sharing my thoughts of like, I don't have the right answer yet. But then, because then the other thought I'm having is like, let's say I do a proper, just a photo editing session. So all you'll see if you miss the stream and then you happen to see that I have this 10-minute video where you just see me working on this photo, well then if you tune into that and you watch that 10-minute video, basically you'll just hear me talking to the chat as I normally do, or breaking down how I'm editing each thing that you're seeing me do. And then by the end of the video, here you go. Here's the before and after. So that's like one thought, which is not a bad idea. But yeah, I got to juggle what makes the most sense. Anyways, Ayo, you said, let me take a sippy. That hits. Ayo said, I'm not really a streamer, but here's what I could get from this. If you're not really an entertainer to clip some moments or games, but if you're, for example, said you're an explorer, so you can clip some exotic or rare moments that catch your eyes or could fit in. Yeah, that's a really good point. And actually, so there's two sides to that, I guess, AO. One is that once I start streaming when I travel, that is like the obvious golden goose kind of a concept. I agree with you. So let's say once we are finally doing this IRL live streaming, imagine I'm doing a Jeep safari in Kenya, or I'm in Norway doing the dog sledding, or I'm in Mongolia on a horseback with the eagle hunters, whatever the situation is, and I'm live and I'm showing you guys and you're on the adventure with me, then 1000% the goal would be that the editor would be able to monitor that and clip out some of the coolest moments. And that could be for like a YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reel or TikTok, or it could be a long form video where it just takes like a steady 30 minutes or whatever fun adventure happened to occur. And then the second part is, how do I do that when I'm not traveling? So when I'm doing a live stream here from home, obviously as part of my live stream, I am showing my explorations. You mentioned I'm an explorer. Fair enough, I'll accept the label, but I'm not exploring physically. It's more you get to see my explorations through the photos that I'm editing or through the videos that I'm putting together, right? Like these YouTube videos. So like technically, yes, this is my version of like how I can show you guys my explorations retroactively as we edit some video together. And then the question becomes, okay, if I do that, I mean, watching, like, let's say how long I spend editing up this video, is that worth publishing as its own standalone YouTube video? So people, if they want to see how I was editing something, you know, they would see it. But the problem is, for example, a video like this Mongolia video, this is a multi-day process for me, right? We've been working on this project for a number of weeks now. So it doesn't hit as hard to see like a single video where you see the behind the scenes of how I put this episode together. So that's another thing I have to think through. Whereas for like photo editing, I think this is a little bit more easy because, you know, I'm just editing one photo at a time. And so it could just be watching me literally take a photo from beginning to end. And I feel pretty confident that's something I can do within a matter of minutes, or maximum like 30 minutes, or it depends on the photo, I guess. But it is definitely something I could push out very quickly. So then if that becomes clipped as its own YouTube video, that could be as short as 3 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. And then the hope is that it's entertaining enough throughout, whether it's because I'm giving my thoughts around every time I do an edit, I'm explaining why I made this choice or I did that one, or it's because I'm talking with you guys while I'm editing, or I'm watching a YouTube video, you know, simultaneously. I don't have the right answer yet. So, but in the name of like hopefully being very upfront with you guys and hopefully you find it useful, perhaps, yeah, I'm just sharing with you guys. This is the current challenge I'm facing with this component of being a full stack YouTuber, where I'm trying to do YouTube videos of various lengths, cinematic stuff, but then also doing talking head stuff, but then also doing shorts, and then also doing live streams, right? So AO says, this could be difficult since you're not as big as the other streamers yet. For example, iShow Speed has some wild clips on doing wild stuff, for example. Yeah, exactly. The time Ronaldo, is that stable Ronaldo? I've seen some guy, I don't watch a lot of those like entertainer streamers, but I've seen the name Stable Ronaldo, so I'm assuming that's who you're talking about. The time Ronaldo beat Speed's sub count in just seconds, so he decides to do something interesting, embarrassing, which basically his iconic diving to his camera. Okay, well I'm also going to be very honest about this as well. I will never be one of those types of streamers. And iShow Speed, I would love to, but I don't have his charisma to that extent, or his he's a unique, you know, personality in like all the craziest, coolest ways, in my opinion, from the bit I've seen. My point is like maybe with like the Ronaldo, or the example you gave of Ronaldo doing something crazy to you know, break the records and stuff. I'm just not that type of guy. I'm not that kind of like bombastic, you know, crazy, gonna do something viral and scream into the camera, or, you know, one, I don't think that's my personality to begin with, and then two, I'm just too old to do that. You know, I'll break my back just trying to scream as loud as I show speed might into the camera, or whatever you're saying with Ronaldo diving into a camera. So I don't think I have that kind of energy. I don't think I exhibit or exude that or output it. But the first part you mentioned about the I show speed showing the wild clips on doing wild stuff, that part I can do, at least the wildlife, the wildlife stuff, right? Because that's my bread and butter, right? I travel for a lot of times for like wildlife photography or going to these remote places, and as I'm putting all the tech stuff together, that is something you should be able to see from me regularly. I'll be traveling throughout the year, starting this year, and then definitely going forward. There's no reason I'm not going to do this consistently and like permanently, but I'll be traveling constantly. And the reason I can do it is, one, thank God I still have some savings from my corporate life. So worst case, I'll just blow through all my money to travel. But realistically, it's because I have good relationships with travel organizations, right? Or like travel-based things, whether it's around photography like Nikon, or like these film-based things now, and a few more coming up forward, safari lodges and other types of like organizations. So when I travel somewhere, I have a higher likelihood, it's not guaranteed, but I have a higher likelihood of hopefully being able to reduce the cost associated with traveling somewhere like that, because I have something of value that I can provide, whether it's marketing collateral from the photos and videos that I'm capturing, that whichever brands I work with can get access to and make use of. It's just like any number of those things, right? So that's something I've proven for myself already. There's been a number of these experiences. I'm not even that big of a content creator, right? I have like 45,000 followers on Instagram and less than 10,000 on YouTube, and those are my two main things. TikTok I don't think really counts as of now. But I've been able to get, you know, safari lodges or different organizations to let me travel for free or go to their place for free, have the experience, because of the value I can provide them in return. So I think for those reasons, I think I can do this, and I have the stamina for it. I have the energy. This is what I love doing. So yeah, sorry, it's a very long-winded answer to your point. Let me keep reading what you said. For you, it can be a rare chance if you get a moment that actually catches your eyes. But mostly, if you're doing some editing, some might be as well. Yeah, so for now, I figured in terms of like quote-unquote clips from my YouTube or like segments, it could just be around the topics, of course, that I'm focused on, which is photography and videography stuff. So yeah, I'm not here trying to farm clips and like be viral and, you know, be like, oh my God, did you hear about that dude who like I don't know, did something wrong and then crashed his camera and like threw things around? Yeah, that's not me, man. That's not me, fam, as they say. AO says, sorry I got disconnected a bit, but what I'm saying is like the most common stuff that would appear commonly is like some great moments or like nostalgic moments. Some more commons are like embarrassing moments or best moments that you've seen doing your edits. Cars, when my brain clicks thinking it's actually good, so your mind would think that you would clip it. I do, you know what, do I have that? Oh, I do have something on my freaking stream deck now, so I should be able to hit a button to mark the stream for me somehow. I don't know, so I don't have to like hunt through all my transcripts or the video afterwards. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying, AO. And so all of this is up for grabs. It's stuff that I'm still trying to figure out. So right now, basically what I'm saying is that because I'm trying to treat my YouTube channel more seriously, even to the extent of like how live stream can be best utilized, so I want to extract from live streams back into the real world, if you will, where a majority of people who watch YouTube, they're watching the videos. They're not watching multi-hour live streams, right? So I need to extract the most value out of my daily live streams, let's say, such that the best parts of it can still be enjoyable content for the average YouTube viewer, let's say, so the target audience there. Anyways, I'm not saying anything new. I have this video opened up here. Let's go ahead and watch it. It says, film yourself at your worst. I saw this pop up very recently, or just the other day. You're always going to take some L's, but that's just life. When that happens, you got to look for one more win. All right, so let's check out this video. And I don't know yet. I don't know. Should I just watch the video on its own and then do some photo edits? Let's multitask for now. Oops. I think this photo is done.
This is a true story. I won't lie, most of the time, life feels like it's pretty good. Great, even.
Man, this guy's a badass.
But then, something changed. And life started to look a little something like this. Look a little something. Oh my God. But then, something changed. And life started to look a little something like this.
Yo, the colors on this shot are fantastic. We need more Nikon ZR shooters. AO says, also, I'm intrigued by the editing app you use. Could you mind telling me the name of the app? My editing app. Give me a second. What happened to the... Okay, so for editing... Are you talking about photo editing or video editing? For photo, this is Lightroom. So whenever I'm editing my photos, 99% of the time, it's all within Lightroom. Yeah, it served me well over the years, and it does everything I needed to, and it gets more and more powerful each time. So as long as you're an Adobe user, or if you have the Creative Cloud suite, then Lightroom takes care of everything for you, and it's super intuitive, if that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about for video, when I first started out, I was using CapCut quite a bit, because CapCut, I was just doing it on the mobile device, and that actually helped me out super tremendously to understand. It felt more intuitive to like edit videos there, but it helped me understand the basics. And there were so many tutorials online of people saying like, here's how you make that viral trendy, transition or that edit or whatever it was, and check out this, and you would see it. So then I would learn just from watching whatever the most trendy things were that was using CapCut. So it was like a win-win. And then as I got more serious about video editing, when I wanted to like use my proper mirrorless cameras and all that kind of stuff, then I switched over to DaVinci Resolve. So for all of my video editing stuff, this is DaVinci Resolve. And I mentioned it briefly before, but I think it seems like all the serious filmmakers, all the serious like cinematographers and whatever else, they tend to use DaVinci, it seems. But it could also just be a bias where maybe I watch, because I'm researching and trying to find DaVinci Resolve editing tutorials, maybe all the videos that get floated my way are DaVinci Resolve editors, right? Or filmmakers. So that's a possibility as well. But yes, I use DaVinci, and then I use Lightroom. And if you are a photographer, I do sell my own presets. Let me see if this command works. So if you go to my website, or if you click on this link, you can also find my 100 plus Lightroom photo editing presets that I've created from all of my travels over the past number of years. And yeah. So if you want to find ways to support the channel, that is one way to do it, is go to my website, see what I got to sell and buy stuff, right? But obviously the best way is just to watch the stream and be a part of the community. All right, but I did want to watch this video at the same time, at least for right now. AO says, not really a photographer, but I do photo every time. Everyone is a photographer, unironically, right? Or maybe there's a better way to say it, but you don't need a fancy camera to be a photographer, right? We all got our iPhones, but better than that, we all have our eyes, unless you're blind, in which case, sorry, I guess the rule, there are exceptions to every rule, sure. But actually, even if you are blind, okay, now I'm on too many tangents here. I was going to say, like, if someone who's blind, do they still see, like, okay, you get what I'm going with this? Hold on, let me ask ChatGPT. Hello, howdy, Amber. How are you doing?
Well, howdy there, partner. I'm doing just fine and dandy. like a gentle breeze rolling through the prairie. What's riding through your mind today?
A random thought is what's going through my mind. Basically, I was trying to think. In a sense, I was thinking like everyone is a photographer because we all are basically capturing visuals, you know, all throughout the day. But then that made me think about people who are blind. I was like, oh, okay, so that doesn't apply there. But then if you are blind, do you still see something like in your head? You know what I mean? Like, is there still something visually that blind people see? Or what? Like, you know, do you get what I'm saying? Do you understand my question?
I reckon I do get what you're pondering. Now, folks who are blind, well, it depends on whether they were born that way or lost sight later on. Some who once could see might still conjure up images in their mind's eye, but those who never seen, well, they might have a rich world of touch, sound, and other sensations that fill their imagination. It's less about pictures and more about the other senses painting a scene. So, yep, they do have an inner world, just crafted a little differently.
But I guess my question is a bit more rudimentary than that. What I'm saying is, like, if you were born blind, do you have any visual reference? Like, maybe they don't know it's called black, but are they basically just looking at are they seeing a black screen, or like, is there any color? Yeah, so I'm kind of showing how little I know here. So I'm showing my ignorance, but because I am someone who obviously was born with eyes and visuals, I can't think of a world without any visuals or like having that sense not existing. So what I'm trying to figure out is, if you're born blind, do you have any visual reference, or do you not even see black? Because you don't see.
I get you now, partner. If
I
someone's
feel like
born
such an
blind,
idiot.
they don't have a visual reference at all. No color, not even black. It's just the absence of seeing altogether. Their world's built from other senses. Touch, sound, smell. So it ain't like a dark room. It's just no visual element at all, because that's a part they never had.
Okay, well, anyways. How much do I know about life? Cyroni says, unless you're blind, LMFAO. Have a full thought of your own? Yeah. There was a young man who was blind and took photos, and they were actually really good. I sometimes I laugh, and I don't mean to. You know what I mean? I laugh at the most offensive times. And I do have a crude humor for sure, but yeah, I gotta be mindful. I'm not laughing at the story you told, but anyway, a blind guy who took photos and they're actually really good. I don't remember his name. The deaf musician. Born blind, they don't visualize the world in 2D. Okay, so the blind people aside, I guess my point was, we're born with, okay, caveat blind people, all right? All that other way. We're born with the ability to capture everything around us, right? So in a sense, we are quote unquote photographers, right? Yeah, like at the end of the day, we are that. It's almost like it's like built into us. It's like a baked in skill set. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I think I've, after going down this blind route, now I'm just like, wait, what the heck was I even talking about? Point is, you are a photographer. That's all I'm saying. Unless you're blind. Sorry.
It was one of those times where it just seemed like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. You know what I'm talking about. Like the universe was playing one big joke on me. And I needed help.
Man, I don't even know what to do anymore.
Okay, I like this video so far because it's like really well done. And this is a question for my own channel. I need to figure out, is this the type of effort I want to put into my YouTube videos? Right? Because there's a lot of work put into this. There's a lot of time baked into it. And there's nothing wrong with it. It feels very cinematic. And then the question is this the route that I want to take with my channel as well? Where let's say if there's a subject, and whatever the topic is going to be, But once I have that topic, I'm like, I have a whole shot list. I need to film these moments, blah, 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 and put it all together. But it's usually about a story about me, right? Because here he's saying film yourself at your worst, and obviously it's talking about his life. So is that the kind of stuff that I want to do on my channel? I'm not sure yet. But it's like super impressive. So, I sent some pictures in Discord. I don't know if they're good. Oh, let's check it out. Let me keep on this.
In fact, I don't even want to do anything.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You are on a generational run of L's right now. But hey, can I give you some advice?
Some advice. Sure. What?
All you need right now is a win.
You're an idiot. A win.
Yes, a win.
Alright, so I'm curious. What one win is going to save me?
Now you're right. It's not one win. You just need...
Huh. I don't know what it is. I'm of two minds about this video so far, and I can't really grasp why or how to explain it. Because like in one end, it feels technically well crafted. It feels very artistic and all that kind of stuff. But then it all in the other end of it, I don't know why, but it feels also like it's overly crafted and acted and whatever else. For my taste, like subjectively speaking. Yeah, I wish I could figure out more. We're gonna keep watching, but so Ayo, I just saw your photos here. Let's full screen this biatch. Send some photos in Discord. I don't know if they're good. Listen, yo, these are always good. And you know, we're here to help if you want to learn more about photography and stuff, because it's a very subjective concept, right? But just looking at this shot right now, I like this framing quite a bit. It feels like there's a good balance to the shot. So, you know, you've got this, obviously your eye goes right to this big ass bus that's like parked in a little side corner here, which is also very intriguing for some reason. And then you've got the family, so you got that group right here. There's a bit of like action going on, but it adds some nice weight to the photo over on the left side. And then over here, my eye goes to the two empty chairs, which feels very symbolic. It feels very artistic. It just feels very much like its own subject here. And there's good depth, right? Because you got the foreground, the family here, this one more towards the middle, and then off to the here on the right, you got the chairs. Yeah, not much more to say. I feel like this was it looks like you had an eye for this kind of moment. Whatever, I'm curious what caught your eye more when you wanted to take this photo. But it does feel like you're capturing a raw moment in, I don't know if this is, did you say you live in Indonesia or somewhere? I forget. But it feels like you're capturing a raw moment here, which I like. These are the kind of things I still to this day I really appreciate, and what I want to capture more of is more of these kind of people moments from when I travel. Yeah, like the candid, cultural, local people shots, in whichever way that makes sense. The picture you saw was in 2x. I photoed this on the side of the road. Nice. And I do live in Indonesia. Nice. Okay, so my memory's not that bad. All right, I see you have a thing for buses. Man, this takes me back. I feel like I've had to take some of these types of buses for my trips. Yeah, this is a cool shot as well, man. I just, because I think this bus is quite fascinating as a subject to capture to begin with. Because this is like, you don't see this in the US really often, ever. But this feels like it's more prevalent in other parts of the world. So on a few of my recent travels, I think in Vietnam as well, this became like our mode of transportation for a while. And it is insane how much gets packed underneath. And it's used for like all these like tour groups. I'm curious what this was used for. But yeah, I think this is a cool shot. I like It's like a bumblebee bus. And also very cool. I think I only learned this more recently, right, as I was getting more into videography and then towards the tail end of photography. But yeah, the whole concept of leading lines and how valuable that is when it comes to capturing moments. I think it's something we intuitively appreciate because even back before I understood the concept of leading lines, you know, you just knew that once you saw a moment like this, you wanted to capture it, right? So I think that's one of the interesting things about learning photography and videography. Yes, there are some baked in rules that you're supposed to follow, let's say, but for the most part, it's an art form, and those rules exist because the average person seems to have all agreed that there are some things that are just more aesthetically pleasing, or it draws our attention. And so these lines definitely are one of them, where it helps the viewer be able to kind of see and understand the depth of the photo. Because, you know, again, at the end of the day, this is a 2D image that we're looking at, very flat, but based on what is shot here with the leading lines that stretches from here all the way into like a infinite horizon style thing, it helps you kind of, I guess it emphasizes the deepness of the shot, which then can evoke different emotions, because now you're like, yeah, the concept of something far away, stretched out, your mind wanders as far as the shot is far. So I think that's always cool, because then it helps your viewer, like, you know, get transported into the shot and go into their own thought process or their own mind state, let's say. Yeah, so this is great. The only thing I would say, maybe just because I have a bit of OCD around some of these things sometimes, not always, is like maybe just figuring out how to straighten the image a bit. So there's got to be some angle somewhere as you adjust with the photo editors or even on your phone, where you can try to rotate this photo slightly counterclockwise until at least, I don't know why, because this line here, obviously it's diagonal, or it's not like straight to the photo, but it doesn't bother me as much. The one that seems to bother me more seems to be over here for some reason. I couldn't say why. But if this image shifted ever so slightly to the left, or like rotating it, that would be the one thing that would scratch the itch for me, because I guess I get fixated on that. But then sometimes you want it to not be straight, right? Because you want to make the viewer feel uncomfortable or feel like you're in this distorted world. So that's why I said there's no wrong answer when it comes to like photos, in my opinion. So, but yeah, thank you very much for sharing these. You said the Orcella thing in the back of the bus is the code name. What the heck is that? Did you all hear that? Did you guys hear the clapping sound? I hit command number 2 and it did that. Wait, is that did I somehow access? What? You heard that? Wait, where is my... I was on a Chrome browser. Which browser? Huh. This is on my YouTube. So I have a little, I have my YouTube live stream dashboard opened up so I can see, like, you know, that I'm streaming and monitor it. And while I'm in there, if I hit command 2, it makes the applause. What happens if I hit command 1? Wait, there were built-in sound effects? Wait, is this like one of those, like, every YouTube streamer knows about this except for me now? And it took me 128 days to figure this out? Yeah, laugh at me. I gotcha. Wait, how many of these sound effects are there? What the hell is that? No shot. I've had these at my fingertip the whole time. Wow, indeed. Okay, so it's from keyboard number 1 through 9. I can do these things. What the heck? Ayo says, trust me, I've never heard this before. Well, I'm just a little bit bewildered at how little I know about streaming still. I know that there are more levels to this. Like, for example, I need to learn how to do the IRL streaming, right? That's a whole category. And then I need to I need to figure out the soundboard concept. So it's funny to think that I didn't know you can even access it from, at least on the YouTube side. Does Twitch have this as well? If I'm on the Twitch chat. Wait, what? Okay, what if I'm not on a browser? If I click on, I don't know, Discord. It's still doing it. Wait, how's it picking this up? Wait, is this coming from TikTok maybe? Hold on, let me close this TikTok live studio. Oh. Interesting. It's all coming from TikTok live studio. So because I started streaming on TikTok recently, or testing it out, and it has its own software. So I launched the TikTok live studio, which is over in a corner on one of my my monitor. And even though I'm not on it, even though the stream I didn't stream yet, it's just there on the side. And even if I'm not clicked on it, I was like on the browser, right? I was trying to switch between tabs, but then because I was trying to switch tabs to, like, you know, move out of whatever I was on. And instead, it's been overridden by TikTok's built-in soundboard. So, okay. Well, sorry, I'm lost in my thoughts now because I'm learning there's more stuff that I can make use of. Anyways, what were we talking about? Thank you for sharing those photos, though. You said, oh yeah, let me keep reading what you're, oh, that's, I was trying to get to this photo. The Orcella thing in the back of the bus is code name. So basically, in our country, buses have their own code names / nicknames to give the taste and the ease of knowing which is which. Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? Okay, well, listen. Ayo, I'll share a little bit of my experience in Africa. Because in Africa, there's a concept called the minibus. African minibus. And this is something I learned just from my corporate job. Yo, what's happening? Fedorevsky's in the chat. Howdy, howdy, Fed. Thanks for joining the stream. We're doing a little bit of photo editing and watching a YouTube video around, well, hopefully some good videos that help me with my own YouTube channel with, like, making some cinematic content or whatever it is. And then we'll do some video editing for my Mongolia video. But, oh yeah, I was going to say, in my corporate job, I helped build some concept that was to represent all of Africa for our companies, whatever. And as part of that research, I was trying to find what unifies a lot of the African countries together. And at least in a lot of parts of the Eastern African countries, they all have these mini buses as their form of transportation, but they're all called different names throughout Africa, which I don't remember any of those names. But the cool thing about these mini buses is that they're usually decorated. So it's like graffitied almost. So let me see. Let's go with maybe Kenya minibus. There we go. So like you would see this in Kenya, you would see it in Nigeria, you see it like all these countries, but it's really cool because Matatu, that's what it was. I just remember the name randomly. Matatu. Kenya? There we go. And you get some of the wildest, craziest things you'll see as you're on the road. And it's like, it almost feels like a point of pride. I view it in the same way as like how people do graffiti. There's a bit of like you're slapping your identity onto it. And then people have their favorite matatu. Like they literally would wait to get picked up by this particular matatu to get to and from, right, wherever it is, like for their minibus shuttle system. So there's a bit of loyalty that gets built into it. I don't know, it was just one of the most fascinating things to realize there's this kind of like a culture around the transportation. and obviously it's very colorful, which is why I think it's also very interesting. So it's like a form of personality that you bake into this vehicle, and it gets wild. Like you would see some examples that are just out of this world. So, anyways, why did I bring that up? Because you're talking about that bus. You said most of the nicknames are popularized by the citizens because of the elegant look, and most buses get slapped by wooden bats to signal the bus. Oh, okay. For example, find Kids Panda JB5. Kids Panda JB5. Kids Panda. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, yeah. So it's kind of cool. I didn't know. It's cool to see that in Indonesia you guys have this like subculture or whatever around these buses as well. So it carries across continents in different forms and fashion, right? But that Matatu definitely was very cool. And then in Nigeria, I also saw minibus. Let me see if there's some good examples. You would see these types of minibuses everywhere, and people are literally hanging off the roofs. The doors are open, and they're just kind of hanging off the side of the vehicles. It's just like, it's just the way of life almost type of a thing. But it's the right mix of chaotic and curiosity. You know what I mean? So this is, just as an FYI, another kind of short film concept that I thought would be really fun in the future if I have the opportunity. I want to make a short film on these like minibus systems, right? And just like show this day in the life of what it's like to live in these countries where this is like the common mode of transportation. I already see like I can see some really cool moments where if I'm on the freeway or if on the road and you see one of these buses driving by with like, 20 people hanging off the side of it, just to be able to film and like do a little bit of motion tracking of some of those shots in slow motion and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few like very cool shots that I was imagining, and I saw, because I was in Nigeria a few months back, and I saw a few of these like moments where I was like, oh shoot, I wish I had my camera ready, because just to be able to film this unique experience, would be valuable. I think it'd be a nice way to show the different culture there. So I wanted to make a whole short film kind of a concept around the minibus, right? This very symbolic thing that ties a lot of these countries together by its necessity, but also by how culturally, I don't know what the word would be, but it's like there's a lot of personality tied into this form of transportation. Nigeria, colorful bus. Let me see. Yeah, and that could be a really interesting long. It would take a long time to film this, but it would also be very interesting to make like almost like an international short film, just showcasing all of the different modes of transportation around the world, right? So then like, taking a few clips in Indonesia with those huge bus shuttles that you just shared, or parts of Asia where you got the tuk-tuks, and then showing these types of minibuses through Africa. And obviously you got your standard taxis and Ubers and stuff like that. But yeah, if you just like kind of show this universally, or just like showing the different flavors of how what transportation means and how it's there's words in there that I should put together to kind of tie it into a nice theme. Some of our buses would slap like lots of horns that are on the top or the bottom of the bus, the reason for amusement for citizens. I think I've seen some of those kinds. The time you actually said that the stream would help my headache disappeared slowly. See, I told you. You're welcome. So make sure to like everything or do all the stuff that helps the channel. Okay, let's keep watching this thing.
Something to get you going.
I'm assuming that's going to get copyright struck. Most streams that I wouldn't get comfortable at, you're the only streamer that actually made me feel comfortable. Oh, well, thank you very much. Listen, I have that effect. Well, I'm kind of joking, but there was a time when I thought to myself, if I could have made a different decision in terms of what career path I chose from, university onwards, there was two random worlds that I could have seen myself enjoying. One was becoming a physical therapist. For whatever random reason, I thought I enjoyed and I felt like I had the ability to, let's say, even when it comes to like giving a massage, I had this because I had to help out my mom all the time because she had a nighttime job. She worked like 6 days a week, from like 10 p.m. until 10 a.m. basically every day. So yeah, you can imagine always exhausted. So I would always be the son that has to give her massages. I didn't have a choice, to be honest. Well, you also felt guilt. She would guilt you into. She'd be like, "Oh my back is so painful because of you two kids and all this stuff I have to do for you." So then I'd give her massages. But at some point, I remember, which is kind of weird, but like as a kid, there's a moment that all of a sudden you grow old and your muscles actually feel sore. I don't know how to explain it properly. I just have a moment in my life and it's so distinct. It was when I was in Korea. I visited Korea as a kid. I might have been like 8 years old or something like that. I was in elementary school. And out of nowhere, I seem to have this recollection that we were waiting for a bus or a subway or something like that. And as I was entering, I just had this feeling that my muscles were sore. Like, I don't know, like my leg or my back. And prior to that, my entire, as a kid, I guess we are still growing. Our bodies are still whatever the hell you want to say, where your muscles just don't have that feeling of like, oh my God, it's sore from a workout or from doing this activity where you feel like you need a massage or you got to stretch it out. You just don't have that feeling until this moment happens. And I remember that moment because it felt like my body just got whiplashed with like, oh my God, is this what it feels like to feel uncomfortable? Like having muscles feel a certain way and I have to like knead it or I have to just get rid of this feeling. So anyways, I'm on a tangent. I'm going to keep going on this tangent. When that happened, I felt like it unlocked a few things, but the most important thing in my mind was I started to be better at giving massages, which is like kind of funny to say, but I basically started predicting because I could almost, it was teaching me empathy, right? In its own weird way. But because if I was giving my mom a massage, let's say, right? I was starting to imagine what it might feel like to be the one that was feeling sore. So I was like, okay, if my back is sore and if someone is massaging my back right at this point here, I feel like the next place to make it keep feeling good is if I move this way or whatever it is, or like I can't stay here for this much longer. I have to keep going. I don't know. There's a whole thought process where I was like, in my mind, I was imagining I was getting massaged at the same time that I had to provide the massage. And so then I started to predict exactly where someone wants to get that massage. To the point, you guys think I'm making this up or you guys think I'm just whatever, right? Cat and Candle says, wait, we aren't born sore and tired. Dang. Yeah, some of us, we are privileged as little children, apparently. I may have more problems than I thought. Fed says, if they try to copyright strike it, just tell them to get down on it. Dude, I wish... That's a good one, man. Thank you for making me laugh. What was I saying, though? Oh, yeah. The massage. Why was I bringing up the massage? Oh, it's because... Okay, anyways. Just to make my points crystal clear, my massage skills were so good that when I went to university, and we used to have house parties, right? There's one of my good friends, he and his other housemates, they would throw parties at their place every single weekend. And it was like the go-to spot for a lot of people, a lot of Asian people. It was a bunch of, listen, I was getting close to my Asian roots during university because I grew up in, the Southwest, not many Asians. I tried my best to be white. And then when I went to university, I tried my best to embrace my Koreanness. That's a whole other story. But every weekend when we would have this party, there would be on the futon, I would be there, and there would be a line of people sitting on the futon and standing sometimes, waiting for their turn for me to give them a massage. Because I would be there, you know, we're just having fun, it's a party, but whenever I'm taking a break from whatever, you know, I'd be chatting with someone and then just giving a massage the whole time. Because my hands wouldn't get tired during the whole thing, the way I was doing it, and they would love it, and then the next person goes and the next person. It was a thing. That was my thing. So there was a world where I thought, like, maybe I wouldn't mind being a physical therapist. So then going back to the real reason I brought that story up, what was the reason? Oh yeah, it's because Ayo, you were saying something about most streams that I wouldn't get comfortable, but this one made me feel comfortable. So I appreciate that. The other career path that I might have seen myself going into was being a therapist. Because like I felt like I do a decent job of listening, but I think I have in my life, I think I've had enough experiences to feel like I can hopefully share some advice or hopefully be infectious with a certain mindset or personality type to help people feel comfortable opening up or doing whatever. So I actually was for the longest time the person that people came to, like in my close friend groups or whatever, about like relationship problems or whatever else it might be, for a while there. Now I don't see anybody because I'm antisocial, but there was a time. So thank you very much. Thank you, Ayo, for saying that. That is one of the best compliments you can give me for sure. And I'm happy that the stream could allow you to feel comfortable, because that's a new mantra that I'm trying to say a bit more and more, is being comfortable being uncomfortable. And so I'm trying to embrace that as well for my own endeavors. That's you. Hopefully you're going to see it in my YouTube channel. You're seeing it with how I try these random things here and there, is just being comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm gonna try to go to sleep at 11:40 p.m. 11 minutes left. Well, thank you, Ayo, for being here during that time. And you should go to sleep early for sure. Kavai says, back. You did business in uni? No? Yeah, I studied like boring economic stuff, and then I spent, you know, all my corporate career doing not always boring, but like doing a lot of like typical corporate development stuff, like working in strategy or innovation or, you know, sales, that, you know, design. BD's in the chat says, hello, hope everyone's doing well. We are all doing well, I think. I'm doing well, but I'm also haven't done real work yet. But it's been fun. AS says, same. I used to massage one of my friends, and my friend here recommended for me to take a massage. Even one tried to pay me. Dang. Okay, so maybe you're on another level. You're giving that is there an Indonesian massage? I'm thinking of Thai massage, but okay, maybe not. There is like a Balinese massage, right? I've seen that word before. Fed says, I wrote the script for the next short film we're making yesterday. Oh, well, nice, man. Man, you work so fast. Definitely put me to shame yet again, but motivates me to keep going faster. Kavai says, hello, BD, and thank you, you too. We got Ikidis in the chat. Ikidis says, how's it going? It's going very well, thank you. We're having a fun stream, just chilling, you know. I was supposed to be doing some proper editing, but I got a bit distracted, as one does. Hopefully you're doing well. Happy Thursday. Hopefully you're enjoying. Hopefully you've had a lot of... I think, Ikidis, it's been a while, but I thought I saw you were doing some kind of marathon, or like some ultra marathon, or you won some awards with like a horse competition, or I feel like you've been doing some crazy things recently. So yeah, let us know if you're a champion. Are you too badass for us at this point? BD says, I feel that we have some CAD modeling I need to get done by today. Oh man, I just spoke with a 3D modeling company who's trying to put together the case for me. It's so expensive, but I think I might pull the trigger on it just because I know I can't do it. But basically designing and then producing the 3D parts and then putting it into, let's say, a Nanook or Pelican case for the Rodecaster for my live streaming concept. So yeah, I think I'm about to dish out some money for that. He says that I've been putting together, but I think maybe it's justified. Oh, well. Ikidis asked, what are we editing today? Well, I was just doing some casual edits because we have some photos from Sri Lanka that I need to get through. This is the last one that we had edited, which is the photo of this young leopard. And to be honest with you, because this Sri Lanka trip I mentioned it wasn't a trip that I was prioritizing photos myself. It was I took a group of Nikon photographers where the goal was for them to take the good shots. So I didn't focus too much on taking photos myself. So I don't have that many excellent photos from this trip that I feel like, oh yeah, you know, here's a whole highlights of them. So I'm feeling less motivated because this is probably as good as the photo gets from that trip. But we do have some other ones that I'd highlighted that I need to edit. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll edit this bird. There's some people shots that I'm interested to get to. Let's see. When will that be? Is it on this day? Let's see. We got some elephant shots, some butterfly shots, some monkeys, owls, bird in flight. Okay, so we do have a little bit. There might be a few kind of cool, crazy shots. Like this one should be a nice one, right? So this one could be fun to edit. And what else do we got? Some of the crested, what do you call this? Crested hawk eagle. Oh yeah, I'm excited for these people shots for sure. So we had this lovely local who was in the back of the truck. And then I was shooting with the 135 plena lens. And so when he spotted me, you know, thankfully he didn't mind. And he just kind of chilled and posed a bit more for me. So that was cool. So this is going to be fun to edit. And I guess, yeah. So there's a few in here. That should be nice. But I do need to do some video editing. So Bali's mostly recommended. Most people who are from other countries would be going there. Well, I need to go to the orangutan. That is #1 priority for me. But now I'll be questioning tomorrow or someday soon because I'm letting you some time to do your work. Oh yeah, no worries, no worries. No, feel free to, when I say these things, I'm not complaining that I'm not getting work done on the streams. The whole point of the streams, and part of the reason I've kind of started to stream fewer hours as opposed to in the beginning, I was streaming like 7-8 hours each day. It's because I know I have to prioritize a bit of like proper work outside of stream. So then during stream, if I don't get anything done, I don't feel as bad because I know I used up the day more effectively before then. Ikeda says no marathons, training for a half marathon in June. But yes, my horse and I won a regional championship for our division. Yo, wait, hold on. Give me a second. Let me open up TikTok Live Studio so I can use one of the soundboard things, which I just discovered, by the way. Hold on. So if it's open now, even if I'm not live, if I hit Command 2, that feels a bit too formal, less excited. Hold on. So Ikidis just won a regional championship for her division. Okay. Sorry. We're not laughing at you. That's not it. Is that a kissing sound? I said Ikidis just won a regional championship for her division with her horse. Which is very dramatic, I agree. You know, it's very heart pounding. And she's going to do a half marathon in June. That is a wow, yes. And I would scream at ever having to run more than like to the fridge. Okay, well, I guess this is the one. It was, oh my god, it was Command 1. Command 1, which is the one I skipped. I started from Command 2. So Ikidis, congrats on winning. That's some epic stuff. That isn't easy, I can imagine. So congrats to you. Man, okay, so when I go to South Africa, you should let me film you when you're doing your competition. But dang, that's crazy. So regional championship for your division. Does that mean the season's over? Or is that just one championship and there's another one that you're training for now? BD says, have been concepting some new custom mux boxes and finally get to the modeling and design stages of. What is a mux box? Is that something I should know? Definitely will take some pain points away from my current life. A mux box will take away pain from your life is what I'm hearing. Mux takes away pain. Mux box. A muxbox or multiplexer is a device that combines multiple input signals into a single output signal, allowing several data sources to share a single transmission path. Okay, so in layman's term, is that kind of like how this Rodecaster video works, where it's taking all these video signals and then just outputting it as a single video thing? Ikeda says, thank you. Yes, yes. Well, thanks for sharing. That's some epic stuff. Thank you, Ayo, for being here. He says, I'll be seeing you soon. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words from earlier as well. I am screaming as well. Yeah. BD says, no, not at all. Well, I tried, okay? I was trying to sound smart with my layman. Oh, by the way, I was watching this video. I think this one's probably more
There's this new
meaningful.
style of video blowing up right.
I was watching this video. I don't know if I'm going to get through this right now because I do want to start doing some video editing because it's almost 9 p.m. But this was actually pretty on point with what I've been doing recently. So even my endeavor as I'm trying to get into this whole concept of behind the lens and doing these kind of like shortened vlogging, I don't know if vlogging is the right word, but these like shortened talking head videos where hopefully it's not as like punchy and it's just meant to hear me chat about a specific topic. But yeah, this video, I was just watching it at the gym today, and it's basically pointing that out as like as a trend that's apparently effective recently, where you're seeing people acting regular or like, you know, unscripted, or maybe they're just talking and there's not a lot of fluff, or they're just walking around, blah blah blah. And so I didn't finish the video, but I was like, oh, okay, cool. I think I'm doing the right thing then, or at least from one video, it seems like it's saying there is value to kind of doing this style of video for YouTube, where you just kind of talking on subjects, trying to do it consistently, but not necessarily feel like you have to be overly polished. I still am being overly polished with my episodes. Like I said, I have the first episode out now, and I just finished the second one with the editor, and we've got like 4 other ones lined up. I finished filming a bunch of them, but I am trying to figure out this new strategy of hopefully being more authentically open with you guys through my YouTube videos, not always through live stream. Nepo edits. Nepo_edit says hello. Thank you very much for saying hello on Twitch. Thank you, all of you watching on Twitch. We are live streaming and multi-streaming across YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, which reminds me, let's go ahead and start that TikTok stream because we're done watching YouTube videos. So hopefully I'm not gonna get flagged by the TikTok system again. Oh, and thank you very much for the follow as well. Yo, I appreciate that very much. Nepo edits. Nepo edits, your name has edits in it. It also has Nepo in it. I thought Nepo... Oh, okay. Before I go into another tangent, because you have edits in your name, I'm assuming, are you a photographer yourself, or a videographer, or do you stream? Either way, I'll make sure to give you a follow back at ya. So thank you. Katzenell and Boggin. I remember you because your name is so unique. Katzenell and Boggin, if I'm saying it right. Katzenell and Boggin. I like to just keep saying it. But says, good day. Is the Z9 Mark II still a conspiracy theory? You know what? Someone else brought up the Z9 Mark II earlier in the stream, and I was saying, I don't know anything. Nobody tells me nothing, okay? So I didn't know if there's been some recent announcements about it. Here, let's ask ChatGPT. What do you know about the Nikon Z9 Mark II? Ooh.
Now, we don't have an official Nikon Z9 Mark II yet, but there are rumors out there. It said it might have a new stack sensor, around 46 megapixels, faster readout speeds, and an improved processor. Rumors suggest burst shooting could be up to 60 frames per second, and a pre-capture mode might be included. Just keep in mind, none of this is confirmed, and it might not launch until sometime after early 2026.
Okay, that's all we got. Thank you very much, Oh no, I forgot how to say it. Katzenell and Boggin. Thank you very much for the follow on Twitch. Oh, listen, I love when someone watches me on one platform and then supports me on the other or whatever it is. So much appreciations for all of that. We're trying to grow everything, okay? Oh, I mentioned this earlier, but yesterday's stream, apparently YouTube flagged it in a good way, because I saw this thing pop up that said it was like it was a featured video. So whatever the case was with yesterday's stream, it could have just been happenstance or luck or whatever, but somehow YouTube did take that and feature it. In a sense, I guess that means they might have suggested it to random people that they thought might be interested, which is great, because I did notice there were more viewers yesterday on the YouTube side than expected. So yeah, hopefully we can, keep that magic going every single time. So now we are streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. So I've kicked up the TikTok stream. So hopefully we're not going to get flagged with anything, as has been happening every single time. But if you are watching there, I appreciate it. Thanks for the follow as well, says Edits. I'm happy to. Nepa Edits says, I do short form video editing for League of Legends streamers. Oh, damn. Okay. Oh, you know what? That means you have a very punchy style, yeah? That's like one of the skill sets I don't have when it comes to like the video editing for like TikToks or Reels, when you do those like really flashy, punchy edits. I don't play League of Legends though. I know it's very addicting. That's all I know about it. Oh wait, but I love the TV show Arcane. That is one of my favorite. Would you call it anime? I don't know. Is that anime? Arcane? Let's ask ChatGPT. Am I allowed to call the TV show Arcane an anime?
Well, now that's a bit of a lively debate out on the range. Technically, anime refers to animation from Japan, but folks sometimes use it loosely to mean stylized animation with that feel. Arcane was made by a French studio, so it ain't anime in the strict sense, but if you're just using it casually to talk about its style, most folks will get your drift.
I should have had her say that to me in a Japanese accent next time. Ikeda says, oh wow, we have a Katzenellenbogen Street in Cape Town? Wait, what is Katzenellenbogen? Is this like a thing? Hold on, let's ask again. What is a Katzenellenbogen?
Well, a cat's in a well in bucket is just a plain old metaphor. It means you're in a tough spot and you're relying on something or someone to get you out of it. Like
No.
bucket.
I didn't say cats in a well in a bucket. I was saying I was saying Katzenellenbogen.
Now I hear you clear, partner. A Katzenellenbogen ain't no well or bucket. It's actually a grand old name of German origin, often tied to noble folk or even place names. So if that name galloped into your mind, you might be thinking of old aristocracy, European history, or just one mighty fancy name.
Well, there you go. Katzenellenbogen says, I live in South Africa. It means cat's elbow in German. That's not what ChatGPT said. Wait, I wasn't paying attention, to be fair. I thought ChatGPT just said it was something to do with like aristocracy or some royal thing. Noble folk. A Katzenellenbogen ain't no well or bucket. It's actually a grand old name of German origin, often tied to noble folk or even place names. That doesn't say much. Nepo says, Arcane is really good. I wouldn't consider it anime. It's like animation. You wouldn't call Disney movies anime. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But regardless, Arcane, amazing show. Actually, it's probably, that might be like in the top, for animated shows, that might be #1 for me. I think. It's just so good. And you know what? There's one realization I had from watching that, because I was trying to figure out what is it about the way they filmed it that felt so great and almost not like an animated show, right? And it's because I think they do this, they employ the whole focal, like different apertures. They apply it into the shots where they mimic like a low aperture shot, for example. Or I don't know what the right terminology is. It's like they would show something like a sliver of aperture focus as if they were shooting with like an f1.2 lens at times, or showing as you focus pull from the foreground to the background and stuff like that. So it almost feels like there was a real cameraman, filming this scene and like, capturing what a real lens would have done in that moment. When like sometimes I feel like with animated shows or anime or whatever, because it's all fake, right, that you're like illustrating or drawing everything, they would just usually just make everything in focus, or like, I don't know, I just felt like that element isn't always there. Whereas with Arcane, I felt like they were almost like religiously making every shot feel like it was as if a real camera and a real lens was capturing that moment, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe it's all in my head. Katzenellenbogen says, ask GPT what is cat's elbow in German. Back in the day, there were actually some co-productions between Japanese and French animation studios. How do you say cat's elbow in German?
Well, partner, in German, a cat's elbow would be Katzenellenbogen. That's a real word, though it's mostly famous as a historical German name. It's a mighty fun one to say, too.
It is really fun to say. Okay, good to know. Wait, going forward, can you speak with a German accent?
Absolutely. I will switch to a German accent from here on out. If you need me to change again or stop, just let me know. What shall we talk about next?
Can you say cat's elbow in German?
In Deutsch würde man Katzenellenbogen sagen. Es ist ein sehr ungewöhnliches Wort, aber, wie du schon bemerkt hast, ein sehr lustiges.
Okay, I wasn't expecting all of that. Katzenellenbogen. All right, well, that was entertaining, guys. Thanks for letting me go on that tangent. I am ready to start doing some video editing with the limited time that we've got, okay? It's almost 9 p.m. over here. So, we are now streaming across YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. Hopefully, we're not going to get kicked off any of them. Let me pause the music so I can refresh on the work that we've done so far on our Mongolia episode 2 video. So right now we've just got the intro. I need to change the text here. I have to add some voiceover. There's a lot of stuff we still need to do, but let's just refresh and watch. Okay, let me pause it there. So again, just recapping. This is our hook and the intro trailer. And the only thing missing for this one, so this is for our part 2 of Mongolia, although it's kind of its own standalone thing. And the missing thing here is I need to add some narration at the very, very beginning part of that hook to hopefully provide some context that this whole episode will be about the people of Altai Mountains, basically, through their songs. And then we're kicking off into verse 1, where we hear them singing all together. And the theme of this first verse, or this chapter, if you will, is around kinship, which is one of the main, I think, cultural pillars that you see of the people there, especially because they're all nomadic people. So there's a lot of, how do you say? Oh, yeah, I need to write this down. I keep forgetting. Okay, before I forget, let me write this down. In my Notion, before I forget, quick thoughts. Quick thoughts here. Let's write it here. Okay, where'd it go? Make some comment about how interesting the concept of... Oh, wait, I did write it down before. I'm an idiot. My memory just sucks ass. I said, for the first intermission, when reflecting on kinship, maybe a poetic way to describe the juxtaposition of their nomadic lifestyle, but they're they're very communal. So I think there's a very interesting aspect to that they're as nomadic as possible, and yet maybe because of it, not in spite of it, they are super communal. The Golden, I think I remember seeing your name before. Thank you for coming back, I believe. Did the Benny Morris, hold on, sorry, let me read that again. Did the Benny Morris in-person interview from 2024 ever release? You know what? I don't know if it has, nor is it, unfortunately, it's not in my prerogative. I can't even say the word right now. Thank you for asking, by the way. So you're referring to one of my trips that I did. At this point now, it's what, 2020, mid 2024. I went with the large YouTuber, and we went through parts of Israel and Palestine, and I got to go there as like the actual video, like the cameraman, and it was a really wonderful opportunity where I actually that was my first time actually learning on the go how to do like a three camera setup and do all the lighting myself, the miking, and setting up these interview situations in so many different locations. But yeah, it is not my content necessarily. So it's really up to the YouTubers who, it's like their type of content that they should release. So if they haven't released it, I mean, it just doesn't make sense for me to release it on my channel unless they've publicly posted it, if that makes sense. But thank you for asking. I'm sorry. I know everyone in that world is like, when is the next video coming out? Listen, I finished all my part. Okay, I edited all those videos. I posted it. I sent it out. If it's not publicly available, it's because they've got their timetable for when they'll release it. Fedorowski says Ulysses 31, for example, a legendary animated series, was a French-Japanese Luxembourgian co-production. Ulysses 31. I've never heard of this. Nepo says, holy F, crazy takes. I believe you're talking about this intro. I will accept that as a compliment, a holy compliment. But thank you. Yeah, this is something we put together for our first episode on YouTube, which, by the way, I'll put a link to my YouTube channel. You guys should definitely check out the YouTube page. You can find the first episode on my YouTube channel. It's called Into the Blizzard. Actually, let me go ahead and get the link for that. I got to do my best to promote my own stuff, Let's find that video, Into the Blizzard. Where are you? But it's about like 15 minutes long, I think. 16 minutes. 16 and a half minutes. So if you have 16 and a half minutes, I do hope you'll check this out. I'll pop it into the Twitch since you're there. Feel free to enjoy it, hopefully. Leave a comment and all that fun stuff. This was actually something I put together from my live streaming. So for those of you who stuck around since the first month, oh my God, see, I already got, how? I got a gifting, on TikTok, I already got that message that says gifting suspended and live visibility restricted. So I wonder if it's, what causes that? What is it on my stream that they keep saying is breaking? Did I curse? I don't know. Okay, anyways, I was getting distracted, but the point is, if you like this content, I hope you'll check out the first episode. And I made that video from my live streaming. So the whole process, the behind the scenes, you can watch it from day one of my live streaming VODs on YouTube all the way until I think it was like day 20 something. So you'll see the entire, how the sausage was made. And now I'm working on episode 2 months later because I'm very slow with it, but we're trying to get it done, Fed says, large YouTuber, are you fat shaming him? Yeah, I'm fat shaming myself, man. Although I am losing weight slowly and I am building muscle mass back. But I've seen photos of myself when I was younger because for my next Behind the Lens episode, which right now I have it scheduled to release on Wednesday, so next week, just because YouTube's algorithm said Wednesday is the best day for me based on my existing channel to publish it. So I was like, okay, let's test it out because this is meant to be a weekly video, hopefully, series. But yeah, the next video that's publishing, it's called The Sunset That Changed Everything, okay? So it's going to be a video that kind of breaks down how I first got into photography. I've shared the story briefly before on the streams, but anyways, as part of that, I was looking up photos of myself to use as B-roll, and I saw some of the photos of me from, you know, like 7, 8, 9 years ago, and man, it puts me to shame to see where my physique used to be and where I am now. So I am fat shaming myself. The Golden says, I understand. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very cool stream, by the way. It seems very chill in here. I think so. Listen, we're a small streamer over here. We're not like those big guys. But also, I don't do video games or stuff like that. It would be fun. I do love a few games of chess here and there. But generally speaking, if you are popping into my channel, the things you'll see are my cats, if they happen to be hanging out with me. So we got Nala over here. So Nala joins the stream occasionally when she chooses to. And then we've got Kimpop, not here. But if my other cat decides to show up, we've got this camera set up here. So yeah, fingers crossed. And then you got me, of course, in my little space. And then usually I'll spend my streams editing my photos and videos from my travels. So I've been very blessed to be able to travel a lot of the world and capture it with my cameras. And now I'm at a place where as I get into like video stuff and I've been vlogging, I have a lot of video content that I'm trying to turn into more of like a cinematic storytelling, let's say. So that's what you're seeing here. So just to kind of recap again, as we play this out, this is the trailer to kind of kick off like, you know, the second episode of my trip to Mongolia from like 3 years ago. Amazon Kitty and Absent Kitty. I like it. Yeah, Kimpop's been doing his thing occasionally, you know. So I need some text here.
Oturğulum beyılday, kolda жоқтың қиынай, Ұстараның жүзіндей аударылған дүнияй. Көруші едік той-тойлап, тұрғын бербеу бір байлап, Неkin sabah kızlarınız daydırsınız.
Okay, so we're missing a bit of context in the beginning, so I'll have to add some extra text overlays as that chapter starts out. And I'll do the color grading at the end. So once everything's locked in, then I'll do like the final, making sure the colors and the quality looks nice across the board. Hey, Daytor's in the chat, says, hey, Yobel, hello, chat. Daytor, we learned a new German word thanks to Katzenellenbogen. And the word is Katzenellenbogen. Who knew? Such a cool word would mean something random. Wait, what did it mean again? Cat's elbow? Katzenellenbogen. Either way, welcome. Guten Abend, Daytor. And then, oh yeah, the other thing, so I just started doing some video editing for today's stream. So it took a while to get there, but here we are, you know? So as far as this part goes, this is meant to be an intermission. I don't know if I need some text at the beginning of this. So let's say this ends. I might. Maybe I need a little bit of text overlay here as well that just says like intermission 1. And then it's like, I don't know. The Eagles flight. I don't know. Like, so maybe I do need a little bit of a chapter here to or make it obvious that this is like an intermission moment. So it doesn't look too random that we just went from these guys indoors and now we see the eagle. And then in addition to maybe that title overlay, making it clear this is an intermission moment, I might need to add some soundtrack, plus I need to add my voiceover. So this is where I was saying during this whole flight moment here, my voice would kick back in, being like, hello guys, welcome, or whatever I have to say, right? I have to figure out the script. But this is where I'll mention my moments of discovery, like the fact that it was, it stood out to me how communal they were, how there's so much camaraderie, and it felt like these were people who just like, they obviously bond really well with each other. And again, tying that into the fact that these are the most remote, nomadic people that I've ever spent the time with, where they literally are just like individual families just roaming through the countryside with their livestock. And so it was really cool to see for such a culture where they tend to be loners, if you will. But when they're together, it's almost like you would never be able to tell. Like just the way they just bond right away. It was like it's something that personally, jealous is the wrong word, but there's a feeling of, I don't know, where maybe aspirational, or it is like a feeling of like, man, I get nostalgic about that because it reminds me of some of my closest friends and back when I used to live in the States, and like, just like those moments that you get to bond together, and seeing it in these moments with them, throughout their adulthood. And I don't know, there's something about it that really resonated with me. So I'll have to I need to extract the right words from whatever I spew out, and then we'll insert it into this section while the eagle is, flying through as a intermission. And then hopefully that sets us up for the next verse, which I'll kick off now. Let's do the work. And then these B-rolls, they're not the right ones yet, so I have to figure this out. Okay, so anyways, the main thing here is that I need to start inserting in all the B-roll, and I need to figure out what's the right duration of the song. And so part of it is just feeling out, some of it will come down to once I see all the B-roll, and then feeling if, it's more of an intuition thing, I guess, or just whatever makes sense. We do have plenty of B-roll here, so you can see I have like all of this footage to go through. A lot of it is fluff, it's not what we really need. So currently my thought process is, I think I need to find, starting with like the introduction of showing shots of the eagle, the hunter, and the rider. Sorry, eagle, hunter, and the horse. So introduce the characters, and then start to show B-roll shots of preparing to head out, and then actually showing what a hunt looks like. So this chapter and this verse is really meant to showcase a crucial part of their lifestyle, which is obviously being hunters, right? So living with the eagles, going out searching for whatever they're going to be eating or hunting down for their survival. So for that, there's a lot of these clips that I know we will end up using. But in terms of the sequence of them, I think I need to show a little bit of how they are preparing themselves, setting up, and then boom, let's get going. So I think I want to start organizing these based off of let's get all the eagle shots, the horse shots, and the hunter shots first. Oh man, this is gonna be hectic. Let's I think I need to cut all these out of here for now. Sometimes I realize I make my life more difficult trying to do this. So from here, yeah, okay. So let me grab everything from here to there. Yeah. Is that everything? Yes. And then let's go ahead and cut it and just bring it over somewhere out here. So this is a latter part of our video. So now we should be able to play with these ones. Starting here, let me just drag these guys. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now we should be able to do this better. So first shots, basically I just want to arrange these shots so we get all of the photos, or sorry, not photos, all the videos of each of the characters one at a time. So we got the shot of all of them together. We've got the shot of the eagle landing in. More of the same shot. Eagle and rider. Eagle again. Okay. So let's bring this one over. This one I think we already went through. So these were the clippable ones, or I think we already did the exercise of trying to find the best moments of this. So let's drag these guys over. These are all potentials. Leading with this one. And then let's put these shots together. Okay. Sequence wise, so what did we say? We need the shots of each individual character. Does that make the most sense, or would it make more sense to show this? Actually, you know what? I might scrap everything I just said. I wonder if it's just better to start with one of these shots where you see everyone out, you know, because it's a very epic shot. Like between one of these, let's see. If we get a stabilized version, slow motion maybe. If we just get one of these shots here of all of them out on the ride. Because that also sets the scene, right? That's like setting the scene that we're literally on a hunt. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm leaning towards that. So, hold on a minute. Let's take all the hunting shots. Or not the hunting shots. Let's take all of these shots where they are on the hunt. Maybe we'll just change the color. We'll go with chocolate. These are the charging shots. This could be nice in the end. All right, these are part of the hunt. Okay. All right. I feel a bit more excited now. I feel like we're hitting something. Let's grab these guys. Put it over here. And some of these clips I used in the first episode already. but it's not the worst. I don't mind actually repurposing or reusing some of the shots. Because like I said, this is like episode 2, but it's not really, right? In terms of my approach, this is like its own version of the trip. This is also, I do get excited for my upcoming travels because I feel like now I feel more comfortable being a quote unquote filmmaker. I feel more comfortable understanding the purpose and like the thought process behind having a story first before I travel somewhere, so that I have a little bit more of a grounded vision of what it is that I need to capture. Yeah, like having vision, I guess, for why I'm traveling somewhere. Because like for the past, 2 years of traveling, for the most part, they were usually just like, let me travel somewhere and I'm just going to capture everything and hope that I have a good story once I go home, and hopefully I can figure it out then. Now I'm trying to go with intention and be like, this is the story I'm going to get. These are the shots. These are the, the moments that are necessary. And here's why. So yeah. Fed asks, do you know when you're going now? So as of now, no. There's a few, there's a few things I'm still trying to figure out. One is around the pricing. So I need to hear back from the guy who, for the Norway trip, I still need to hear back on. I had a question about the pricing because it was, I just need to clarify something. So if we can come to agreement on the pricing, then hopefully I can just lock it down as soon as possible. But the thing is, I was briefly talking about it earlier. If the trip doesn't happen, I almost feel like a sigh of relief because it's just like, it's one of the weirdest, chaotic, condensed moments here. I think you were there earlier when I was talking about there's like 5 trips potentially that might be happening without any breaks in between. So I just had some good chats with some people at Nikon, and they had asked if potentially it seems like they might want me to travel for a quick workshop in Africa to talk about like filmmaking and stuff like that. So I mean, that's great, and it seems like a good opportunity. But then that's like right in the middle of March, and they want to do it before Ramadan ends, or like before Eid or whatever. But then there's another film project that I've been reached out to about, which is still like TBD, but it seems like it's going to happen. And that's supposed to happen basically all of these trips are back adjacent to each other or almost overlapping, which gives me very little room for delays, mistakes, or whatever it might be, or even for preparation for each of the trips. So there's a number of these things where I'm like, oh man, if I go on this Norway trip, that would be like the beginning of March. Let's say I would travel March 4th, maybe, so I can get to Alta by March 5th. And if I get there by March 5th, that means on March 6th, I can catch the opening of the Finnmark Slopet, or whatever it's called, but the start of the dog sledding race. So I can film a bit of that. And then on the 9th, I would be going for a multi-day dog sledding expedition. And of course, the whole aim is that I'll be filming all of it, trying to capture it in the best light possible, but also potentially testing out live streaming. All right, my cat. Oh, Kimpup's right behind me. Let me see if I can grab Kimpup. He hates being picked up, but he is literally right behind me. I might be able to snag him. Hey, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. There he is, big boy. Any words? Good boy. Oh, look how hefty he is. He's so curious because he's never allowed up here. And there he is in all his glory. Feds ask, oh yeah, sorry. So that trip, I still don't know, right? But if I do it, it's like, it's locked in terms of the potential dates, and it would have to be at the beginning of March, which also means I only have like 2 weeks, because I keep forgetting February is obviously a shorter month. So I don't have that many days to see if I can get all of the kit necessary to test out the live stream, right? So right now I'm speaking with a 3D print shop to see if they can work with me at the right price to be able to build out the physical case to house the Rodecaster and some of the other pieces. And then separately, I was chatting with Cyronius about maybe he can help me figure out the Bella Box situation, or I might still try to figure out if I can get a live view purchased or rented or something. I don't know. So there's like all these moving pieces with very little time for me to try to do everything all at once. So it would be a little bit of a sigh of relief if I can't do the trip to Norway beginning March, just because I know that means I have a few more weeks to get other stuff done, you know, like making more YouTube videos, like filming a lot of more content, being more consistent on live streams, and, you know, all the other things that are just as important for me as traveling. And then, yeah, if that doesn't happen, then like I said, there's like 4 other potential trips that are lined up back to back to back to back. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit a lot to think through, but I mean, I'm not complaining. And like I said, I do still want all of it to happen. It's just one of those like, yeah, okay, let's see. Jesus, take the wheel type thing. So, the right prize. Yes, exactly. Man, why does this cat lamp looks on, at least on screen, it looks bigger than my cat. So that's weird. Okay, anyways. But yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. But not in a bad way, just in a chaotic way. I feel like this shot, could it fit where? I don't know if I want to start with this shot, because they're all just kind of... It's not the best footage, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of dark areas. It's hard to, like, figure out what's going on. I'm moving around everywhere. So as far as, like, starting off this chapter, or starting off the B-roll with this footage, I don't think that would make sense. It might be something to put in towards the middle after you see them on the hunt. And this could be like a taking a pause type moment, maybe. And then these are some of the GoPro shots. So it's not as cinematic, or the quality is not going to be as great, but it should be more stable. And there's just more of it. So this can always be filler content. And it still shows us on the hunt. So these ones technically should also count, but... I'll drag this over. Fed says, soon I discovered that this rock thing was true. Jerry Lee Lewis was the devil. Jesus was an architect previous to his career as a prophet. All of a sudden, I found myself in love with the world. Wait, what is this? What is this quote? I discovered that this rock thing was true. What is this rock thing? Like as in rock and roll? What did you... What kind of rhymes are you spitting at us here? All of a sudden. So there was only one thing I could do, was ding a ding dang my dang along ling long. Wait, what? I was not expecting that next verse. Is this like some kind of song I should know about that I don't? I do know the Ling Long song. That was big when I was in university. Who was it? I think I still remember. It was a UCLA. Oh my god. This was one of the first examples of someone being canceled ever. In the history of cancellations, I think this UCLA girl has got to be one of the first. Because this happened in 2009, 2010, I think. The UCLA girl. The Ling Long Ching Chong. Oh my god. Okay, let me take a quick break. to research this. Ling Long Ching Chong. Wait, am I saying it wrong? Was it Ling Long? What is the name of the... What was the phrase the UCLA girl said that got her canceled? Was it Ling Long Ding Dong? Ling Long Ching Chong. I'm pretty sure it was this, right? A racial rant inspires an internet balladeer. And then I remember this video from Jimmy Wong where he turned it into a song. Ching Chong Ling Long. Oh, wait. Oh, I just had it backwards. Oh, man. That's embarrassing. Ching Chong Ling Long. What year was this? Wait, this is in Arizona? No, I thought it was UCLA, right? March 21st, 2011. Okay, I thought it was 2009, 2010. I was a little off. Jesus Built My Hot Rod by Ministry. I might have to listen to this now. Outcry over Asians in the library. So 2011. Ching Chong Ling Long Ting Tong. Oh, how could I? How could I forget the pivotal line that comes after Ling Long? After you Ling Long, you must Ting Tong. What happened to her? Whatever happened to the Ching Chong Ling Long UCLA girl? This is back in 2011. Whatever happened to Alexander Wallace? Subject, oh, that was from 4 years ago. I want to know now. Alexandra Wallace. Whatever happened to Alexandra Wallace? Subject of the Ching Chong Asians in the Library song. Well, I guess nobody knows. I wish her well. It led to some of the funniest moments after that, so. But man, there was no racism more brazen, at least towards Asians, than when she said those words. Ching Chong Ling Long Ding Dong. No, Ting Tong. My bad. Alright, anyways. So this is a nice in the middle. Okay, this will be a nice transition shot because you see all the shots where we're going up the mountain, we're on horseback. Here we've settled down, we're at the top of the mountain. Therefore, after seeing a little bit of this, then I should transition to the shots of the eagle in flight, is my thinking. So I don't know what color to make this, but we'll make it stand out a bit. So this one should come in after all of the riding shots. What else we got? This could be a nice opening shot as well. Oh man, we have too many choices here. Hold on. This one could be a nice one as well, because we're doing this like establishing shot. All three are there, and then zooms in on the eagle here. And actually, I think I might have a shot like that from the first episode where I've already edited. Let's see if we can find it. Here. Let's see. Can I reuse this? this could be a nice shot. So let me just drag these two over. Potentially we might just reuse them. Let's drag the audio down. And then where's the other one? Where's the other clip? These guys. Okay. Oh yeah, so this is the same shot, but I think I put it in reverse is what it was. So then it started from a close-up and then went to the... Okay, let me think. If I grab both of these. Let's grab these guys. Don't know what color to make it. Let's just grab these. Man, why does it take me... I'm so jealous of you, Fed. The fact that you can make your videos so quickly. Meanwhile, you watch how much I struggle to just do one chapter of my video, you know? So right now, my current problem, I guess, is... or my impasse, potentially, is there are two potential ways I can see how I would open up the B-roll for this section. So at some point, let's figure out those. So maybe right around here is where I can see potentially we kick in the B-roll. And obviously, it wouldn't be this long. It's taking up too much time. So it's just more just like some quick moments from either this type of a shot where you see these two guys together, or we start off the shot with the hunting, like where they're on horseback. So like one of these kind of shots. So that's what I need to figure out now. Let's see. Do I have this? Let's see if I grab this one. So let's do the same thing. Obviously, it's pretty shaky, but the point is, if I use a stabilized version of that, is it better to start with that shot? Okay, I think I have my answer. I think I want the shot not of the hunt first, or like when they're on horseback. I think it makes more sense to first start with this kind of like slow motion. Just some brief moments of these guys closing in on them and then go into the hunt. Fed says, I tend to work slower if I'm editing something like you're doing here. If it's about someone, it slows me down when I want to respect the subjects. Yo, I'm going to tell your actor friend that you don't respect him. So I'm wondering, yeah, so maybe it's more just like this and then cut all that out and just show this part here maybe. And this already might take up too much space given the length of the song, but we'll see. It's not bad. It's not bad, but we'll keep moving and see as we go. So then ideally, as we are here, then we move. You know what? Transition-wise, this could work because we're showing this shot from the backside of the eagle and the rider, and then we transition into when they're on horseback, where we see their backside again as they continue in that same direction. And then chronologically, I guess it makes sense as well because he wasn't on horseback. Now we are. We're on the same, like we're at the ground level. So this is like the start of the expedition or the start of the hunt. So even in that sense, I guess we are following chronological order. And then the problem here becomes the shot was so shaky because I was on a bumpy horse. So the question becomes, do I actually have enough of a moment here where it can be stabilized properly? Which I don't know the answer to, so let's find out. And the ideal moment is here, where you see all 5 of the riders lined up perfectly. So if I can somehow have some moment from this stabilized, I think we're golden. We're Gucci. Let's see what we can do. So if we go to our stabilization, usually I try the translation one. Let's check it out. Let us see. Okay, decent crop. That's acceptable. I think that's actually not bad at all. So, all right, hold on. We might be cooking. We might be Gen Z cooking. Okay, this feels right. Okay, okay. I can probably cut this one. Where do we see? So either right here, we can cut the clip, add something else, or we do a longer version, just depending on how much space we got. We do have, technically, we do have space, but let's see. Part of me thinks that we should cut it here. There's something about the cutting that it makes sense to have a quick clip here. So then the question becomes, I kind of want this portion here where you see the breath coming out around the hunter, and it's a bit more close up. So even though here the framing is nice, we might start this sooner. Let's see. Even though it is much bumpier, so I don't know what to see. Hold on. It might be a little too bumpy for me to start it from right there, to be honest. Even though it looks the best right there. So let me rewind what I just did. Let's try again. Okay, we'll leave it for now. So then what comes after this? We get a little bit of shot of them on horseback. Well, we want more. So now this has to be a montage of a bunch of those shots. So what comes next? This is much of the same thing, so we can skip that. This is the GoPro version, which I think right now, ideally, I would only use this if I need like a time lapse. And I need to crop it in. Let's see. How does it look? Yeah, I don't think it's as useful, at least for that segment, because like all of this is we're still on the flat land at the base of the valley, right? So if I were to use any of the GoPro, ideally it's when we see the change in terrain as we're starting to go up the mountain. So this shot for sure we want. This guy. So let me grab all of this, I think. Yeah, okay, so let me grab all these guys. What else? Let me move these ones out of the way. Man, I really hope this works out. And I think I just have to keep reminding myself that I have to do a better job of not constantly chasing perfection, you know? Because it's like, it's definitely in my own head. And the point of this episode is not to chase perfection. I think I just need to be comfortable sharing moments and knowing that if someone watches it, they'll enjoy it or they won't. But you know, it's not up to me. All right, so these eagle and flight moments will come shortly after. Okay, so we have some more climbing. Okay, so this might be more useful because now we're changing terrain. Ooh, okay. A shot. I think this would be a cool shot. All right. Oh, you know what? And this is helpful because now it's helping me figure out the right types of shot lists for future trips. So even here, I need to keep an eye out for shadows, because sometimes that ends up being a more creative way to capture the same thing. So if I, for example, if I could redo this, if I were to be on this trip yet again, I would have my proper mirrorless camera, whatever, and then I think I would have actually tried to point it directly at the shadows of the horses when we're in this kind of a side profile situation. And so then it would still serve the same purpose if, let's say, I use this in my B-roll, but this would have been a more creative way to show this, like, you know, journey as we're traversing the landscape. So I think this will be something I'll keep in mind for future travels. Search for shots in the shadows and make the shadows the subjects, essentially. So to that effect, I think even here I need to shift the angle. I mean, I don't have that much moment here, so I'll have to be careful with it. So yeah, I'll bring it over. It's all about deciding where the point of good enough is. Once you do, you can chase that point of instead of perfection. Yeah, I think for me, it's more of like it's more just practically speaking. I have so much content to get through, right? And it's like at some point, if I keep starting every stream and we're just making baby step progression on Mongolia, you know, it's like at some point, like, what gives? So like for me, the whole point was I wanted to use the streams, show as much of these content, and then hopefully share all the other countries that I've been to, right? I've got a trip to Sri Lanka after this, then Uganda, then we've got Zimbabwe for a full month, then I've got Vietnam for a full month, then I have where else did we go during that year? Zimbabwe and Uganda again, Vietnam again. Yeah, we just have like so many trips with like amazing footage. Colombia. So yeah, no knock on Mongolia. It's a knock on me for being so slow with it. But yeah, we gotta get this shit done. Oh, this is a nice transition. Kind of. I guess maybe not. Or there could be a nice transition there. If I cut from like here. But the clip is already long, but let's see. That's an okay transition. We can make it somehow work. Good enough can be different points for each project. In some projects, more about the people and the story than perfect visuals. Yeah. And here, that means that the strength of this video is going to be on the audio, right? It's the songs that are being performed. So really, the B-roll that I'm seeing here is just meant to convey a sense of that theme, which is a bit more about the adventure. This one is obviously about the hunt. So I don't have to be that careful about each shot. It just has to show that we're on a hunt. And here are just some visuals to represent it. Otherwise, just enjoy the song that goes with it. And yeah, just know that since it was sung by, like, we get the context, there's a guy here who actually sang it. So hopefully that's carrying through more than the actual visuals. The visuals are just there as like a representation. All right, so at the very least, let me start shortening up these clips into the usable moments. All right, hold on. Just want to jump across time a bit. Sometimes there's different points for different segments. Yeah. Okay, so these ones, yeah, basically I'll end up cutting these even further and further. This could be an interesting transition if I can lock it in better. Basically just kind of showing from one point of view to the next. So let's say, I might have to speed it up, but basically let's say if we go here, maybe there's a better moment. Yeah, maybe this one's a better moment. We'll find out. So somewhere from here. Just to show, you know, time has passed. We're still on a trek. We're going up the mountain. So let's cut that. Let's get rid of the rest. So this is another potential. Basically, I'm just going to use only one of these where you see like the horses, the top of the horse, as like a transition from one of these shots to the next, basically. Otherwise, we move on. And I just want to keep showing as we're going up the mountain. So it could just be a tiny, tiny clip from here somewhere. So just grab this for now. And then this one as we get up to the top of the mountain. And then technically we do have this clip from the first episode. Let's see, this guy right here. Yeah. I guess I can just grab all these again, even if it's for reference. Yeah, but the problem is I don't want it to be exact repeat because I'm basically about to do the same thing where you show we get to the top and then you see a little bit of the bird. I think I want this clip because it is one of the better ones here. Man, this is a real question for me now. How much of the clips from my first episode do I want to show in the second one? Almost verbatim. I don't know. Okay, then let me think about this from okay, what are the key shots I'm looking to put together here? One, we start off by seeing the eagle hunter with the eagle and the horse. Then we see them take off, or I guess get started on a hunt. We see different moments as they're going on this expedition. So hopefully it's giving off feelings of adventure and exploration. And then at some point we're seeing them get to the top of the mountain, at which point you might see them disembark, and then it could transition to some shots of the eagle in flight. That was initially what I was thinking, but it is almost like exactly what I have in the first episode for at least one portion of it. So if I were to try to do things differently this time, what would I do? So we got them going up the mountain. However, let's see. So I could still end up using some of these like eagle shots just to show it's in flight. Maybe this shot here, because I don't think I ended up using this one. So it could be like taking a bit moment here. Yeah, I don't think I ended up using this one, so we can show that instead. This one I didn't capture. Well, this one we actually see the meat, so it could represent a successful hunt in a sense, even though we didn't actually have a successful one. So then where do we continue from there? If we show some eagle in flight, but now we want to show, oh, I mean, I guess I could, where I could differ is show a little bit of the GoPro shot from the perspective of the eagle. So as they're going up the mountain, we see the shots where I took, where we see the backside of the horse and everyone, and then it could transition into this kind of like point of view of the eagle if there's a good moment. Where I think I do have some where you just see them still riding together. Yeah, even like this kind of moment. Let's see. Come on, give me something. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we can switch to maybe a shot like this. So then it just, now it's more clear, like as if this is the eagle's point of view as we hunt. Oh, but then it's the moment. Which is a cool moment, but we're gonna show that later. Hold on. It could be these moments afterwards, because now you see the feathers from the eagle. So it's still kind of showing like, okay, we're seeing they're still on a trek, but now we're like seeing it from the perspective of the eagle. Let's see, there's a moment. Give me something good. It could be like moments like this. Because now we're seeing the hunt from the perspective, like the front face, so you see the face of the hunter while they're riding. So it could just be a few seconds of showing something like this, maybe. Potentially. Okay, riding. Come on. Ooh, that's a cool shot. Hold on. So if I crop this guy. Oh man, it got me woozy. Okay, so it could be one of these parts there. Oh, this part's good too. Hold on. So maybe from here. Oh, we want this one. Wait, did I miss this already? So I think I want these two shots. Bring it over, Rover, and where do we put it? Over here? Okay, so then basically what? You're going up the mountain. Keep going up. And then it could be, once they get to the top, we have some shots. So now it looks like they're taking a break, but they're resting to keep searching for the prey. Maybe just a brief interlude to show the eagles how they're bundled up. Then we have some clips of the eagles in flight. Then we have the shots of what? What else do we got? Maybe, I guess maybe I could end it with all, like, the group of them charging. Yeah, because I think I do want to include some charging moments. Because we don't... I mean, I had a few in the first episode. I feel like I should incorporate it into this one as well. Oh, maybe what I could do is I can do a split screen. I don't know how cinematic that will look, though. But it could be like seeing half the screen showing the hunters all charging, and then the other half is showing the eagle as it's flying Like maybe this one? Is this the one? Oh, I don't know. I'm hitting a wall here in terms of my creative thought process. Cuz like there could be like two different ways we go about this in terms of the storyline, and either one I'm not sure. DJ Bro Official. No, DJ Bro Official. DJ BR Official 123 says hi. Hello, back at ya. Thank you for hopping in, saying hi over on the YouTube side. I am currently just editing my YouTube video here. I am hitting a bit of a wall to figure out, you know, what's the right. Yeah, I'm hitting a wall, is what I'm saying. Creatively speaking. It's like, do I end the episode? Because the issue I run into is, one, the title of this chapter is going to be about the hunt. So my thought process is that I want to show a bunch of scenes where clearly they are hunting, or just like the act of being an eagle hunter, right? How they go out, they search, how they train the eagles, how the eagles go out to actually kill things or whatever. But the problem is, when I filmed it, they didn't actually have a successful hunt. We didn't actually catch like the rabbit or anything. So there's no finality to like, oh, we start with them going off on a hunt and we see the end of the hunt when they capture the prey. In this case, it's just going out and then seeing a bit of like, there's a few moments where you can see them charging, which kind of feels like it kind of conveys hunting in a sense, maybe in a more broad sense. And we have some free flying shots of the eagle, but I'm gonna have that playing in the intermission, so that's another potential issue I've got, because I'll just have duplicates, not duplicate, but I'll have like redundancy, I guess. DJ is asking which application. This is in DaVinci Resolve. So for my video editing purposes, I generally stick with DaVinci. And then for photos, it tends to be Lightroom, always. I say tends to be, but yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck here, guys. Let me look at the first episode again. In the first episode, we have a chapter where you see me going up the mountain. We disembark. We close in on the eagle and then transition to the eagle in flight, or kind of free roaming. And part of me does want to just repurpose some of these shots because it looks good, it works. So if we assume part 2 is not meant to be a continuation of part 1, it's okay to repurpose stuff to share like a different flavor of a story. Because like all of this to me, when you see the eagle in flight, it is very much about the hunt, right? Because as a crucial part of how they hunt is they use the eagles. And of course, these are moments when the eagle is let loose to go chase after the prey. So like a shot like this where the eagle is coming straight at you, that feels more like a scene that represents the hunting. So I feel like I do want to use that. Or like, yeah, the moment where you see the eagle coming in for the land. So once it sticks the landing, if you will. That also has a bit of finality to it, as in like a, you know, the hunt is over type thing. So then the only problem I have is I used up a lot of those good footage here already in the first episode. Because at the time I wasn't thinking, I didn't think that this second episode I'd be doing it completely differently. I thought I would just be doing sequentially, like from a story perspective. So, and we also have some of these charging shots lined up right after. So basically, my problem is I might have used up all of the most cinematic moments in the first episode. where if I repeat it, at some point, is it bad if I repeat a lot of the same footage into this version? And like, I'm of two minds here, because part of me saying like, why would I care? Because this second episode, the one we're working on now, is not meant to pull in from anything from the first episode. First episode was very much storytelling, diary, you know, here I've landed, here's the first activity, the second activity, and beyond. This one is meant to be like, here are the 4 key aspects of the culture of the Altai people. In which case, using the same footage is not actually a bad thing. Sorry, I'm talking out loud to kind of convince myself if I'm on the right direction here. Oh yeah, I was saying I could use the second version of this because I have. Hold on. Oh no, but I wanted to use it in the other scene about resilience. Okay, so we will be using a charging footage later on in the other verse. So I don't necessarily need to have another charging shot in this verse. What I do need is any moments that represent the hunters all together on a hunt. So that would be them on the ride, them eagle in flight. Maybe I should just use one of these moments. So one of these that I haven't used, like this one maybe. This one's a bit too dark. I don't know. Or up in the mountains, let's see. I'm struggling. So this part we'd used in the first episode. Oh, okay. Well, another solution, I guess, could be I could play the same footage, but instead of playing it in slow motion, this time it could just be in real time. That could be like a way to show a different flavor of it, right? Because like it is a good moment. Here, let me see now. Let's say if I grab, where was it? Let's say if I grab all 3 of these just to have it, but okay. All right, so let's take each of these shots now. Change clip speed to 100%. This is off. Oops. Oh no. Okay, let's just see how it looks. Start to finish. Okay, so there's a world where I could just play parts of this, maybe not the whole, definitely not the whole thing, but I can play parts of these clips that I have in real time. So let's see, what do I have here? I'm more inclined for this shot right here when it's a bit more of a close-up, and then we just show it in real-time speed this time. So we get that fast-paced energy. So I think I'm okay with the tail end of that one. And then let's just see what we got with this one. Wildographer. Wildographer says, hi, I'm a beginning photographer, or beginning filmmaker. Well, thanks for being here. I will hopefully, listen, what I do on my stream is generally, I do my best to try to spend time learning how to edit videos and photos, understand more about filmmaking techniques, everything. So hopefully you've come to the right place. I use my YouTube streams to get better at filmmaking myself. I'm what I would say I'm like a intermediate filmmaker. Like I have only been taking it seriously for about half a year, let's say. I've been seriously taking videography for like the past 3 years, I would say. But then now understanding a bit more of like the proper technique, everything from how to shoot film projects, the shot list that you need or the techniques required, as well as how to color grade and edit your footage properly. All of that I'm trying to take a bit more seriously now. So if you check into my live streams, you'll see a lot of that as I do my best to kind of improve the craft, if you will. He said, would love to hear some tips on color grading. Yeah, for sure. This project is not the best example for me to talk through color grading because I've already color graded these and then I exported it into a file that's easier for me to work with. So they're kind of baked in with the edits, the colors. But yeah, I think if you're using DaVinci, or I guess that would be my first recommendation if you were starting off in color grading. As a beginner, I'd be like, okay, you should start with DaVinci. I feel like DaVinci's probably considered one of the better softwares to manipulate colors to its maximum compared to maybe other software programs, especially ones that are at a consumer level. And DaVinci comes for free until you need more specific stuff. So yeah, that would be like the most basic of the recommendations is like, hey, you should learn DaVinci. From there though, obviously that's where the real tips come in, which I would say if there's one thing I've learned, it's here. Let's see if I can bring up what should I bring up? Maybe this. Do I still have the footage for this one? Let's find out. Yeah, so for example here from this video that I made on my YouTube channel, when I was color grading it, this is generally speaking what my power grade looks like on DaVinci. And it's very complicated looking, but overall it's fairly straightforward in the sense that the first node or like the first layer that you start with is changing your color space to match, right? So regardless of what you use, whether it's DaVinci or Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere Pro, usually if you're shooting in RAW or log format, you'll go through this process where you're making sure the colors of your input, or like the video that you captured, is then converted into a format that's optimized for your editing platform. So for example, here, this clip that you're seeing, this was shot in with the ZR camera, and so the input color space was something called red wide gamut RGB, and the input gamma was red log 3G10. And like these are all just different words you'll see. Like I know like Sony, what is Sony? Sony's like the S log, and then I don't know what their input color space is, but every camera has their own codec and their own color space and gamma and stuff like that. So all you need to do is identify the right ones for the original footage you captured, and then I'm switching it or converting it while I'm in this editing space. I'm converting it into this thing called DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate Space. So basically I'm saying like, while I'm editing the colors of this video inside of DaVinci, I want it to be in the right format designed for DaVinci. I think I was trying to think of like, what is a good analogy for explaining this? And the best analogy I could think of, which I need to work on, is it's almost like a translation tool, right? So like, let's imagine, oh man, I really need to work on this. It could be something like, let's say someone speaks Chinese and you speak English. Okay, let's work on this analogy here. Chinese comes in, and then your platform is English, so you're converting it from Chinese to English. So then, oh no, okay. I think there's a better way. There must be a better analogy with this. Chinese to Japanese, okay? Let's say you get here, stick with me, okay? Let's say there's an essay that's written in Chinese originally. And you're Japanese, right? And maybe let's say Japanese is the perfect language to translate the Chinese word. There's enough of something about the Japanese language, for whatever reason, has the best way to interpret and maximize the right ways to convey whatever was said in this other language. So by converting from Chinese to Japanese, because you're a Japanese speaker, because of the tools you're using, it then allows you to maximize as much interpretation from that Chinese essay, right? So then you do all of this interpretation in Japanese. However, majority of the people that you want to share this with, they don't speak Japanese, they don't read Japanese. So then you have to then retranslate it into English. So then once you've done the right interpretations of this original Chinese essay and like figured out extracting the best meaning into Japanese, then you decide to translate it again at the very end. Once everything has been translated, you're now doing the final translation into English, because you know majority of people only read or listen or understand English. So that becomes the universal export at the very end. My God, this is not a good analogy. I'm sure there's something there. If I keep working on it, I can make it make sense. But the point is, you go from your raw format that you shot with your camera, and then you convert it into DaVinci's color space while you're inside DaVinci's program. So then everything inside here is where you're editing the colors based on DaVinci's like maximized ability of like playing with colors. And then at the very end, once you have the final color, the look and feel that you like, you just need to re-export it or convert the color space into that universal language. So instead of English, this is where you have that terminology like Rec 709. You might hear that all the time or see that everywhere, because usually that Rec 709 is the format that's compatible with like YouTube, Twitch, all of the social medias and all the media platforms. So that's like the quote unquote English that everyone understands. So you have to do that final translation into the format that makes sense. So that's the only output at the very end that matters, where you convert it into that format. And then like, yeah, everything inside is where you do the color grading. It's not the best example. Sorry, I just went on a long-winded explanation there. I'm going to work on that though. There's a kernel there that could make understanding this whole concept of color input and color output, transform space, blah, 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 make more sense if you analogize it to English. I think. Lupin. Oh my god, I'm gonna struggle here. Lupinek Jeberek. Oh, now we got another rhyming username. What was the other one? Katzenellenbogen and Lupinek Jekborek says hi. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. I say hi back. Yeah. So anyways, I was trying my best to sound smart, but I failed epically. In the meantime, I am still struggling here. Struggling hard. Trying to figure this out. Here, let me just play this out in full and let's see what we got. I just gotta hear the sound of the music. I might need to cut this video. The other option I have here is shorten this chapter. How long is this? It's from 3:13 to 4:57. Yeah, so maybe if I can somehow chop off about 30 seconds here, because that way because I'm struggling to figure out how I can get the right footage to put in here. And one answer is I do have a bunch of footage I used in the first episode. I can rinse and repeat. I can maybe show some of these charging shots, although maybe it's more just to convey, you know, I don't know, because the charging doesn't have as much to do with the hunting, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit of like a working backwards, or not working backwards. It's just it doesn't convey the same thing. It conveys adventure. You're seeing the rider charging towards you, so in a sense, it could feel like a quote unquote hunt. But the way they hunt is not by charging, you know, that's more of like a thing they do. But like, yeah, the hunting is done with their rifles and it's done with their eagles. So it doesn't necessarily fit into the same thing. It's just more for excitement. Lupinek Jaborek says, hey, may I ask why you use Gamma 2.4? I usually use Gamma 2.2 for my projects because I publish it on internet webs and Instagram, etc. Where are you going with this video? And by the way, love the colors. Thank you very much for the question. The real answer is I don't know why. I just I'm like the good sheep that I am. I just followed what someone else told me what to do, you know? So I forget when, but when I was first trying to learn DaVinci, and like from random YouTube videos I saw, it seemed like they were all saying, hey, you should make your let's see, can I go to it here? They were saying like in the color management, it was like use the DaVinci wide gamut intermediate for the color space, and then the output you should use Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. And so I just haven't had anyone push back or give me a better response than that. So I don't know. I don't know why I use that. It just might be because, like, to what you said, generally speaking, I'm making this for my YouTube channel. Some of the projects might be for something more than that, but generally speaking, it's meant for YouTube, possibly, yeah, and then like maybe for Instagram Reels, things like that. But my focus these days is on YouTube, so I don't know. It seems like maybe Gamma 2.2 could suffice for what I need. I do know at some points when I was exporting my videos, I don't recall if it's happened recently, it would feel like whatever I see in my colors here, when I export it, it would come out looking like 1 or 2 shades darker in the exported footage. And I'm curious, maybe it has something to do with that. Perhaps I'm trying to export it in a certain color gamma, whatever, that isn't adequate for like when I publish it to YouTube or how I see it on my Mac Studio or like on my monitor or something like that. It could be a thing. It could be. So, yeah, and I should also clarify, I think I mentioned briefly, but I'm fairly intermediate when it comes to filmmaking and like color grading and all that kind of stuff. I've been focusing on video for 3 years. I've been doing YouTube for the past like year and a half. Less than that in terms of being more serious about it, like having the time to constantly push it. And then filmmaking has been like probably the past like 4 months, something like that. Wildographer says, by the way, if you ever come to India, I would love to show you some of the best wildlife. Yeah, I mean, I've been to India, I think 3 times so far. I went to Ladakh. I have if you continue browsing my YouTube channel, which I recommend everyone should do. Let me go ahead and plug myself yet again. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have a playlist on my travel series, like when I would go, do my vlogging. And that's what I'm working on right now, is a second video of my Mongolia trip. But I do have a video there for India. I did a trip to go to Ladakh for the snow leopards. And then after that, I went down to Jim Corbett's, and that was great for the tigers. Previously, I did a trip to Ranthambore for the tigers, and then a trip to Kabini for the black panther or the black leopard. But I was unsuccessful in seeing the black panther on that trip. I do want to go back for that. And then Ranthambore, when I did that, I didn't know how to be a wildlife photographer at the time, or I didn't know anything about it, so I wasn't fully equipped to capture what I saw effectively. So I would love to retrace my steps, if you will, go back to some of those places, and now with the knowledge that I have, with the gear that I have, try to recapture some of them. Lupinek Jaborek says Gamma 2.2 is for monitors and phone, and Gamma 2.4 is for TV and broadcast. I had this issue too when I was on a Mac. Exporting in Rec 709A helped me. Okay, well, thank you for saying that, because I think when I was doing a little bit of AI, ChatGPT, something, I think they mentioned something about Rec 709A was also what's recommended. So since you're telling me this completely separate from what AI said, it sounds like that might be the best option for me. So when I'm done with this episode, I think I will try to export it in that 709A and see what we end up with. Because yeah, it's so frustrating when you color grade everything properly and then what you see ends up being too dark. And so then I have to go back to the video and basically apply an adjustment layer and increase the exposure by like a stop or something. Wild says, I would love to show you the deserts and more rare unseen species. Well, yeah, listen, that'd be great. Like I said, I'm starting to plan some upcoming travels again. We're getting back into the groove of it. A lot on our plate to get done. So yeah, I would love to go back to India very, very soon. All right, guys, it is now 10:30 p.m. my time. I'm trying my best to end the stream a little bit earlier, at least for now, because I just have like I said, I need to start so basically when I'm not streaming, it's going to be, well, now going to the gym regularly. So that's good. But then it's like just in front of the computer, working on some storyboards for YouTube videos that I need to film and then edit them, and also plan for these upcoming trips and the logistics behind it, and doing some outreach for other projects. So there's a lot of these like things that take up so much more time than I expected. So I'm realizing, okay, let's just shrink a little bit my streaming hours, so that way it doesn't always have to feel like I'm doing work during the stream. I can just kind of enjoy and have fun with you guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. We've been streaming now 3.5 hours. And the bulk of it was not doing work, so I wasn't being productive, but it was a lot of fun. So there's that. Lupinek Jaborek says, be careful, Rec 709A will slightly change your gamma, so I recommend setting it before export so you can see the change. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that is definitely what I'll do. I'm going to be converting this guy. So for example, let's just take this, take a look at this again. So even these ones, I might have to lift it a bit. It's a bit darker. And I think, yeah. So it's a bit darker than it should be. But the point, I get what you're saying. So when I should either do it now in the timeline settings, or once I go to export, I'll need to switch that or export it at the Rec 709A. Should I just do it now? Let's see. If I do it now, and let's go to our timeline settings. Let's say if we choose Rec 7, where is it? Rec 709A. All right, so now it did lift. We did see just a slight change there. But yeah, either way, we're gonna play with this Rec 709A. Although, hold on, maybe I misread what you said. You said be careful. Rec 709A will slightly change your gamma, so I recommend setting it before export so you can see the change. Okay, I think that's what we're doing. I think I'm following what you said. King says, keep up the good work, Joe Bell. Yo, thank you very much, King. It's good to have you here. You know, I do want to, here, because I want to continue streaming to like midnight. I've been enjoying doing that. And obviously at that time, a lot more American people, my fellow Americans, are more awake in the world or doing whatever. However, like I said, at least for this upcoming few weeks, as I prepare, hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully we have 4 to 5 trips that are going to be really good for me, right? These are trips that are not only, well, one of them is like a photography group tour that I'm running. So, you know, that one I've already organized and hopefully we have a good time. But then the other ones are potential opportunities to film really cool stuff, work with really cool people, and open up new doors for other opportunities as a filmmaker, as a content creator, and all that kind of stuff. So those are top priority for me that I cannot drop the ball on. And if I don't drop them balls, all 4 or 5 project balls, that means, yo, continue watching my channel, guys, and we're gonna be seeing some crazy things. For example, Lupin Net Jaborek. Oh yeah, I don't know if I introduced myself properly to you, but basically I do a lot of wildlife and travel photography and shifting now into more video stuff and like filmmaking stuff. But the live streaming I've only started about 6-7 months ago, back in like the mid to end of July, August timeframe. And I've been taking it pretty seriously, doing it roughly every day for the longest time and then shrinking the hours bit by bit. But my goal is to take the learnings and start to do some IRL live streaming. So that was the goal for this year, right? I was starting to put in the work last year. This year, hopefully, you're going to be seeing my streams where I'll be going through parts of Africa, parts of Europe, parts of Asia, and I'll be streaming. So you'll see me on a Jeep safari as we chase after cheetahs or elephants or whatever it is. And then you'll see me in parts of Europe. One of the hopes was, I don't know, fingers crossed, but my hope was that I'd be going to Norway at the start of March to do like a dog sledding expedition. And then the cool thing was, if I get all the tech stuff prepared, you guys can, I'll live stream while we're on the dog sled. So you guys can join me, see the Northern Lights and all that. So that's a huge stretch goal. Because we only have like less than 2 weeks left to figure this out. But the point is, even if it's not in March, that is absolutely something I'll be doing throughout the next year and beyond. And then maybe you'll join me in Finland or even in parts of Africa where I'll be in a hide. So we'll do like a wildlife hide. And maybe I'll stick a Starlink on the top of the hide or somewhere. And then we'll do a stream where we're just being cozy inside of a tiny place waiting for the animals to show up. But when they do, you know, I'll switch the camera over and you can see what the thing is. You'll see how I shoot and all that. So point is, I'll be taking you guys with me on my typical wildlife expeditions. So that is what you can look forward to in terms of who I am as a quote-unquote streamer. I do enjoy the home streaming stuff. Like, you know, it's been really fun even just putting this together, understanding more about proper lighting, composition here, having fun also connecting my cat cameras together, and so you guys can see, you know, my lovely co-streamers. So all of that has been fun, but my real joy is hopefully taking this out with me as I travel. So that's a kind of stretch goal, but it's the ambition. Wild says bye. Yes, no worries. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lupin says, that's what I meant. It's slightly more lifted up as a compensation for the Mac Gamma. Gotcha. The Mac Gamma. That sounds good. The Mac Daddy. Mac Gamma. That feels like a rapper name. Because Mac Gamma is 1.9 something. It's more, equals more dark. Okay. Well, Lupin, thank you very much for being a part of the community. Actually, Lupin, make sure, hopefully you are already following me on Twitch. Make sure to follow me on YouTube. And feel free to join my Discord channel, because over time we have started to build up a community of like other, like, you know, people who are into like filmmaking. Oh, thank you. You know what? Ask and you shall receive. That's one of the key lessons I need to learn as a content creator. You know, you just have to like beg for money or beg for follows, and sometimes people are like, okay, sure, why not? Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. But yeah, I was saying, like, if you join the Discord, there's a number of filmmakers and, you know, photographers, streamers, and other, you know, artists in there. So hopefully we will help each other out and support each other and all that other stuff. And you'll be notified when I go live. Usually I try to go live 5 times a week. Tomorrow I might not be going live. It depends, because my friend who's been staying with me, she just got accepted to she got her visa situation sorted out to move to the beautiful land of Germany, I believe. So we're gonna celebrate, because I think she's leaving very soon. So tomorrow I'm not sure. Lupin says, I love your stream. You have cozy vibes. Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to go for cozy. And like I said, check out the YouTube channel. I'm doing more cozy videos, right? I got this whole series now I'm starting where it's like an overhead camera shot, and I just talk to the camera for like a few minutes on various topics. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Anything else I should share? Do you have to beg to get it? You have to beg to get it. Yeah, exactly. You know what? You got to get on your hands and knees and all that fun stuff. I'll use my cats as a way. I'll just get them to be like, give me money. Wild says, Wildographer, please check out Wildographer. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing. All right. I think I'm good for the day. Hold on one second. If you're on Twitch, I have to be more mindful of this, because I always forget, but because there's that concept of rating, right? And there's a nice community of photographers. It just depends if they're actually streaming, because my streaming time is not necessarily appropriate, right? Ooh, we got Cat and Candle Photo is streaming right now. So if those of you on the Twitch side, if you don't mind, I'm gonna raid. And he's got cat in the name, so you know, it's like, you guys should be happy about that. I'm happy about it. You got to support your fellow cat owners, they say. So we're gonna raid him over on the Twitch side. Those of you on YouTube, Kick, I already ended the TikTok thing, but thank you guys very much for watching me yet again. I hope to stream tomorrow if possible. Otherwise, I'll just be working away, and I'll be back next week, obviously. And hopefully by then we'll have some more updates on some of these projects that I'm on. But what else is there to say? Wow, what a good day today. You know, we did a little bit of work, but realistically we had a lot of laughs. And isn't that worth something, you know? And my cats were here, so isn't that also worth something? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and end